Welcome back, boys. I bet you thought we weren't going to come back ever again after last week, couldn't you? But here we are, a glutton for punishment. And Chris even came back. Fair play.
Even I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, even you're here. And it's good to have you back, my friend. I missed you last week. I could have done with you with me last week, pal, after what I had to sit through.
I'm glad I didn't watch the game live, mate. I was down in Whitland. I was Amber, Buryport ladies, play Whitland ladies.
Yeah.
At one point, it was 15-11 in their favour.
All right.
And we had 2 yellow cards and a couple of injuries, and we went down with the bare 15, and we ended up winning 29-30. So it was a huge win. Like,
well, at least you had something
Whitland
good.
was
You picked the right thing to do. I was saying during the stream last week, I was like, he's picked the right one not to be here for. And you know that realisation as well, through building the channel up with you and stuff like that, I realised, like, you know, when we get those sort of games, I realised, like, everybody else can just switch it off when they don't want to watch any more of it because they've seen enough. I had to sit through to the end, final. I couldn't turn off there, could I? You know what I mean? Which is part of running the channel. But obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Even before the game. We got about a couple of minutes before the kick-off here now with Leinster v Scarlets. Thank you for all joining in, guys. Welcome. Paul Price says, come on Scarlets, fair play. Mark Dunphy as well says, come on Leinster. It's really good to have familiar names in here that we recognise in each week. Every watch along that we do, we are noticing similar names coming in, as well as a lot of new names coming in, which is really encouraging for us, especially when they're when they're both fans of Scarlets and when they're fans of other teams as well. Because I'm enjoying the interaction between fans of other teams, especially like when we've had South Africans in and obviously the Irish. Because I think there's been a bit of a separation over the years in this league where Welsh fans and Irish fans, they tend not to have a platform where they can talk sensibly about the game, and no matter how their teams are doing, you know what I mean? And let's be honest, after last week, there's a lot of questions have got to be that should be asked and have got to be answered. Now, I'll hand it over to you. You don't have to go into like all details, but I mean, I've said in the live stream as it was happening my thoughts on what was happening and why and what have you. I mean, for Munster to pick a second and third team, and for us to pick our internationals and Lions, more or less, apart from Sanjay, right, and obviously the halfpenny out, you know, what does that tell us about where we are and how bad we can be? How low we can go? What were your thoughts on it, Chris?
The main thing for me, mate, is our international boys and our Lions in particular. They know their place is there. I think I honestly think, you know, we saw better rugby in the pre-season. And we giving the I don't want to call them kids, but you know, our youngsters a start, and you know, giving them a go. They're chomping at the bit. Keen, I think it's time now to maybe bring 1 or 2 of them back in to give them a chance. Maybe not, obviously today obviously wouldn't be the right idea, but
yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying there, and you know, my mindset was after the Leicester game, I was like, yes, and then the Edinburgh game, I was disappointed because the likes of Kieran Hardy and Ryan Elias hadn't taken their chances, and they displayed that they weren't quite at the level needed, right? And when I say level needed, I'm on about at the level of concentration. Not that they haven't got the ability. I'm on about that they can be a professional and play for 80 minutes and not make silly schoolboy errors, which I'm sick of seeing.
I agree.
So they didn't take their chance, in my opinion. But then when the Lions came in, they weren't coming in feeling under pressure. And I mean, it goes back to pre-season, right? There was Ken Owens and there was John Fox. Like when John Fox was announced as captain and they had a quick sort of Zoom call or whatever, and Ken gave, you know, all the best. Disappointing, I've been relieved of the captaincy, but all the best to John Fox, right? And you know, I was tinged. I was chuffed for John Fox. I love John Fox as a Scarlet, right? You don't know Scarlet, but
Oh yeah.
It's worrying his form. His form is absolutely woeful. He's nowhere near the player he used to be. And when they announced that they were giving him the captaincy, I was worried because I wasn't sure whether he's not guaranteed his place in that side, especially in the pool of centres we've got, right? And there was words from Ken and Foxy when that happened that was going to, they were saying over the years we recognise we haven't been as switched on like we are for Wales and Lions as in a Scarlet shirt. I was like, yes, welcome that, because at least you're being honest, because we can see it as fans, we've seen it for years, right? It was happening with the George North era, it was happening, and it's crept in, and it's happened to a lot of other players. It hasn't always been the case, but then we had that display against Munster. I'm like, it's just words, it's just sound bites. You're just talking, but there's no action. And very similar to
exactly.
that Dwayne Peel interview. When at the start of the season, when he was saying Scarlets are always up and down, and we want to get consistency of performance. Well, that's not happening. So it's all very it's all very well saying that, but how do you go about? There's no then soundbite or knowledge to say, and this is how we're going to change it. There's no then saying, because if people don't buck up, they won't be included, they will be dropped. That's not the case. Players are still being picked. The only one, obviously, is Steph Evans, and rightfully is dropped. I you know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the teams have come out, and I'm going to, while we're about to kick off, I'm going to go to quickly the chat. Nice to have Mark Dunphy in and Paul Price, obviously. Jack Smith says, come on Scarlets, well done. Popper the Sailor, again, another regular in your evening, guys. Evening Popper, nice to have you in here again. Paul Price mentioning here, at the moment, I can't take Peel seriously in interview since he looks like Spider-Man. The kit, I know, exactly. Thank God Macron is going the end of the season. Yeah, there's a comment about the kit. We'll have I think we're probably going to have a whole episode about kit as and when announcements get made to discuss, you know, the past couple of years, that decision. But plenty of chat coming in, and thank you for the chat coming in. I'm just thinking, yeah, it is on. I just double checked the sound, and I thought your sound was knocked off. Sorry about that.
No, I think I'm good, isn't I?
Freddie Clark's in the room again. Nice to see you in here, Freddie. Now, you are a Scarlet fan, but you are also based, I think you're based in Leicester, you know? And you follow the Tigers as well. Another good win.
Take the 3 points.
Scarlets playing well early on, yeah? Looking a bit more organised.
It's come from a Leinster mistake as well, to get a kick out in the full.
Are you ahead of me, yeah? Oh, you're on
No, I was saying that's where it came from, to get to this position.
Ah, right. Good start from the Scarlets here so far. I haven't gone into commentary, but it is a good start. They look like, at least, they need to just be hard to beat. Ask Leinster some questions.
Yeah, performance
and
was there.
See, and be in the game all the way through. You know what I mean? Those are the things I expect. No matter who we've got out, no matter who we're playing, those are the fundamentals. If you want to be in a position to be successful, you need to be in games. You need to be hard to beat.
Exactly.
You know? And, I mean, the defence, I mean, it's all very well. We've had early ball here, which I'd expect Scarlets, that's encouraging that through phases there we have looked a little bit more polished, where the Leinster are just holding off and being solid and not
yes, they do well, don't they?
You know what I mean? They just like being patient, yeah? It'll be
they don't overcommit to rucks and things.
Yeah, exactly. The test will be when Leinster up a notch, when they go up a gear.
Get into second gear.
And what our defence organisation looks like, because the pillars either side of the ruck were non-existent. There was gaps everywhere. Our Steph, in fairness, right, there's one small element of defence I will give to Steph, right, last week, which was causing him a problem. is that Foxy was nowhere in midfield, and he was getting drawn into the midfield to come in and make tackles. Then they were spotting that and looping a pass out, so he was scrambling over, but then his footwork was all over the place because he's sprinting out to get to his man. But one of the tries, though, he wasn't. It was just like, it was really poor. He left him go round him as if nothing happened.
Yeah, I seen it.
Oh, it was dreadful. It was dreadful. And I'm very nervous to ever see his name even on the bench, to be honest, until we start to see him in a game where, you know, like we've got like a relatively easy game at home, and he gets a couple of games and shows that he's starting to write his basics. Because I would be very, very worried to see Steph in a starting lineup. Today they've replaced him with Ryan Combier.
Oh,
you're ahead of me, yeah?
No, I've just seen a scrum get destroyed. Do you need to do the scoreboard, by the way, pal? We're 3-0 up.
Yeah, no, you are ahead of me.
If the ref wants to blow up now, he can. We'll take a 3-0 win.
Right, let's get on the scoreboard. Sorry. Yeah, you are a bit ahead of me. Do you want to pause it a little bit? I'm on 3:44.
Right, okay.
Because I'm on SOC. You're on Premier.
What do you want now?
3:55. And he's just kicked.
There we are.
Cool. Let's do the scoreboard, yeah? And you chat away about what you're seeing while I do the scoreboard. And then this was what I missed last week. I stopped doing the scoreboard in the end.
It's just Leinster attacking right now. 4.5 minutes into the game. Tackle Thomas Lozana. Was it Lozana? I think it was.
Well, I'm hoping that he could be a big difference this week because we had no back row last week.
Oh, he's as you said, he misses a tackle.
Was it?
Falls off one, yeah. Do you know what, right? When you watch him playing for Argentina, he looks a lot bigger. When you watch him...
Yeah, I know.
He looks quite small.
Sorry, I'm distracted by talking with you, and I should be doing
Go on, Garcowdor. Oh, lucky, very lucky. Nice little chip and chase by Garcowdor.
You're still miles ahead of me still.
Yeah, I haven't got the option to pause it. It's just stop and then you press play and it takes back off.
I don't know. When I get a break now, I'm going to try and get onto the URC then.
Leinster already looking very good, ball in hand going forward there.
Yeah, I mean they do. Yeah, it's just those first up tackles though, because once they get behind you.
Oh Jesus Christ! Well done, Joe Nicholas.
Well, that's a big difference here. Oh, Cowdor.
Penalty. Jesus Christ, holding on. Penalty Leinster.
I know.
They're so quick to. Do you know over there, right? Joe Nicholas came in, he secured the ball.
Yeah, I'm watching.
There was no Leinster playing near him.
Right.
About 2 seconds later, he's getting held on the floor. Well, you know, they're jackling on the floor, and they've just won a penalty. Incredible.
This is the thing. They're so dangerous. You can't give them a space, and that's what's worrying. Is that you know what I mean? Mark Dunphy says, love the crack from you guys. Well, thank you, Mark Dunphy. Now we're enjoying. And if you remember, there's a tale I'm going to say at some point about Leinster fans. I said we'd keep it for this game, remember? About the Leinster fans and the Kilkenny cat. Hang on a second. I'm just going to try and swap to get on the same...
Welcome on in, Amber Phillips is in here.
No, I'm not the robot.
Ivan Davis, Bennett and home next week will be perfect for Steph. Bit of a confidence boost, maybe.
Right, it's actually a better picture.
I'm watching this from Ulaanbaatar. Where's that, buddy?
Mark
Dunphy, where's that?
Wow, Ulaanbaatar. Who said that?
Mark Dunphy.
Really? Wow. Ulaanbaatar.
I'll be honest, I don't know what that is.
Right. Now then, you got me where Ulaanbaatar is. Now then, where is it? Is it Russia? Or is it like Mongolia or something like that? I'm sure it's Mongolia. It's one of those that all the overlanders go through. Like, no long way round. And there's so many... I'm into my biking, obviously. And more adventure biking. And Ulaanbaatar is somewhere synonymous where so many overlanders go through. It's one of those places where when you're doing a massive round the world trip. So how come you're in Mongolia? I thought it was. I couldn't remember whether it was Russia or Mongolia, but because I knew there's Ulaanbaatar and then there's another one in Russia, obviously on the Road of Bones. That it's like a go-to place for any overlander, and it's one of my dreams, one of my hopes that eventually I want to do like a YouTube video diary of travelling basically around the world on a motorbike. But it's just about saving up and getting it planned. Sorry, you take me way off subject there now, Mark Dunphy. And Jason Palmer has to come in and correct me as well, yeah. That's Jason Palmer's job, I think. I think he was put on this earth to just sit there in the background, and as soon as I slightly get anything wrong, he likes to come in and say where I'm wrong publicly and publicly shame me, which is all good because it keeps me on form. There's no leeway when you've got Jason Palmer sat behind you waiting to jump in. It's nice to see you in, Jace. Thank you for supporting the channel, my friend, and thank you for the information about it is Mongolia. I knew it was one of the two, and I couldn't remember which one because I've done a lot of studying about Russia. So Scarlets with the line now. Just to get back to the game, we'll get back to what Karma Peach is saying in Switzerland. Wow, we're getting some great.
Well, a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, we are. Oh, I told you. As soon as they put bandwidth in Mechannes, we are going global. Right? We are dominating the world. And here it starts from Ulaanbaatar to Switzerland to Morva. It's
Morva, yeah.
I should have clocks in the background. New York, Tokyo, Ulaanbaatar, Mechannes. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have you.
Right then. So, I mean, this is what we'd like after last week. I mean, it's all very well. We could focus on last week, but so far we are provided a challenge and having a game that we can enjoy to watch. We no lose, you know what I mean? And that's all we can ask. Leinster on the attack here though. They're looking dangerous. Looks to get outside John. Good cover tackle. Didn't quite get him into touch. Little bit of a slip tackle there, but we managed to snag him down. Leinster on the attack here. Looked like a bit of a forward pass. On the edge of our 22. Crossfield kick. It's looking dangerous.
Oh, Ryan Conbia.
Oh, at least he dealt with it.
What has he done there?
At least he dealt with it. That was the key thing.
You need to pop a little 3 on the Leinster scoreboard as well, mate.
Oh yeah, sorry pal, thank you. This is it. I was far away last week. I didn't know what I was doing when it came to that. This one penalty. Did Jace Palmer?
Well, the only thing Leinster are missing is a proper good stadium of their own, isn't it?
It is because they used to play in Donnybrook, right?
That's
I
right,
remember
yeah.
the Scarlets playing them in Donnybrook, and they used to have like about 1,500 people. Then, and this is one thing, Leinster fans, they've never really acknowledged. It's due to an ex-Scarlet player that their whole turnaround happened, and that was Guy Easterby. Guy Easterby finished playing, and he went to Leinster as like chief executive or something. I forget what the title was exactly. And he has oversaw the whole turnaround with Leinster, because Leinster for years were a plucky side, played good rugby, had nice fans, but they could never really get to the final thing. It was always Munster that were winning the trophies mostly.
Yes, yeah.
Jace Palmer, stop talking and do the scoreboard, man. Hey, it's for the club, isn't it? I'll do it now, man. I'm on it, look, yeah. 3-all. I wanted to cling on to that 3-0 lead for as long as I could. Because you don't know, I don't think we're going to see it again. Leinster look as if they might be in here. Good tackle, almost got some hands on it.
Turnover.
Turnover, yes. Well done, Cowdor. Come on, Cowdor. It's got to be a penalty. Oh, he's giving us a scrum. Oh, well, that's a defensive scrum in this position. That's advantage Leinster right now.
Absolutely,
that's the problem, isn't it? You know. So yeah, Mongolia. I'm just going back in the chats here now. Mongolia. Stuck here waiting for a flight home, Mark Dunphy says. So why are you transiting then from somewhere else through Mongolia, or were you in Mongolia and you're just trying to get home? And why are you in Mongolia? Is it travelling, holidays, sightseeing, cultural, work? We want to know.
Rugby.
Rugby is spreading the
Could be a
Leinster.
tour.
He's probably looking for one of these guys, like he probably got some guy, I don't know, doing his job in the middle of Mongolian plains, yeah? Is it, what they call them? Ute? What's the house they build? It's like a tent, circular tent. Oh,
I haven't got a clue.
if they call them utes.
I'm not very cultured, Nick, when it comes to these things, mate.
The only reason I know it is because I've been exposed to it through watching so many motorcyclists go through there. It's one of the places to go for ADV motorcyclists.
Oh my God.
Oh, look at the scrum.
How was that a penalty?
We had a penalty there. And we're quite lucky to get away with that. Tag Furlong is, you could drive up by his mouth. I don't know, his chin was lower than his belly with that decision. Yeah, I can't talk. I'm putting on the pounds. I need to get working
Every time, ref.
Those power Bakewells, they take their toll, I'll tell you that. I haven't got
have you got any?
No, I haven't got anything. That's all I got. Power crumpets with blackberry jam. That's all I got. And that's going to take me 10 minutes to go down and make them.
You've let us down today. If you lose today, it's because of you.
It's because of me. You're just looking for excuses now, anyway.
I'll be on Scarlet Fever if you lose this game afterwards, saying, look, you know, the Scarlets were class, but just Nick didn't have his power Bakewells today, so
15 minutes gone, 3-all. Not bad. You know what I mean? But we need to not have that scrum looking like that every scrum.
No,
because we're not going to get that decision every game. We need to lock that scrum in. And, you know, our scrum coach is quite quiet. What's going on here? What's his name? Brad, is it? Brad? Oh, I can't remember his name. The New Zealand ex-prop. In that he wasn't present at well, I just realised my ticker isn't working. Hang on a sec. Let's have a look, yeah. Sorry, you just chat amongst yourself. It must be in... we're going to add it as...
Mark said he was working here on assignment, but COVID has cancelled flights.
Right, okay.
Got a lot to answer for.
So, if we hear anything in the news now, the Leinster have found a player in Mongolia, we know what Mark's job is. He's a scout for Leinster, and he's found some guy in the remotest part of in Ulaanbaatar. And next week he'll be starting in the Heineken Cup for Leinster.
Imagine that.
Scarlets looking at with a half break there. There's space. Johan Nicholas.
Well done, Johan Nicholas.
Well done.
He's impressive.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? The way Johan Nicholas is playing, he needs a run in the team. He deserves it because I think the players before him are nowhere near the level he's offering.
A little bit of go forward. Nice to see.
Can we get? No, it's down his throat.
No,
shame.
Good mark.
He's taking the mark, which is interesting. Now that's a change in attitude from Leinster, right? I would normally expect Leinster to counter-attack there. The fact that he took that mark is that they're a little bit more edgy than what they would have been. They're taking us more seriously, which is nice, but you don't want to focus them too much. You know what I mean? You don't want to poke the sleeping dog too much, because that's what you can do. You know, sometimes you can score too early in these sorts of games where you're struggling for form, right? I think the best chance we've got to win is to stay in the game and hit them late on.
Yes. We
don't want to score too early and rattle them into another gear too early, right?
Yes,
we want to slowly build confidence throughout the game. Nice play here from Scarlets. John Fox offering himself.
Just keep the ball. Just keep the ball. That's
exactly. And he did well there. That was an intelligent line he offered himself. Johnny Williams.
That's a nice
slip support to Johan Nicholas. And Johnny McNichol is in the corner. Get in there. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. And Johan Nicholas, John the Fox again, started all that with that intelligent line he brought. And he didn't really do much, but he got over the game line and he attracted about 2 or 3 defenders. That's all, I'm not expecting John Fox to have the pace to make breaks like he used to, right? Like he used to when he was playing with George North and people like that, right? But this, beautiful play. This is rugby league.
Oh, that's
rugby league play there. Taking contact and controlling that tackle and a clean offload in the tackle. Now, that's how a fullback comes up and supports from fullback. That's why I'm glad they made the change where Johnny McNichol is on the wing where he should be. He's not the fullback. He's not, well, I'll say he's not a fullback. He's just like Lee
he's
Halfpenny.
better on the wing.
He's just like Lee Halfpenny, and I know this will be controversial, but he's not the Scarlet fullback. He doesn't play the way the Scarlets play from fullback. He doesn't know how to. Neither does Lee Halfpenny, and it's a problem for us. So Johan Nicholas coming in here, and I was hoping Tommy Rogers would be put at fullback, but Johan Nicholas has got a bit more. He's a bit more physical. He's a bit older. Shame with a missed kick here. I tell you what, I'll be the first to say, let's do the scoreboard. I'm happy to do a scoreboard.
Let's do the scoreboard, mate. 8-3, let's go.
Away points.
And what we'll do, we'll pretend the game's over and we've won and we'll just turn it off.
So it's 8. And
good finish, Johnny Mack. Beautiful stuff.
That's right. Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, this is what we could have hoped for in whatever happens in the game. We haven't come here expecting to win in the form that we are. We were absolutely dreadful last week. But this is a game. We're in a game and we're offering questions. Now, what's interesting is you're looking at Leinster here. They've gone 8-3 down. Now, they weren't great against the Dragons, but the Dragons showed what can be achieved when you've got a solid defence and you don't allow...
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Now, that's a penalty. That could be a penalty. That was knocked forward from a Leinster hand and Leinster player in front interfered with the ball.
The ref haven't even noticed it, to be honest. He's just carrying on as normal.
What do you want about scoreboard? I've done the scoreboard. It's 8-3. And we've scored a try.
It's on again, yeah.
It's on again. Is that why? Bit of a fumble, cost him some space, but there's still Leinster looking not great in defence here. They're looking a little bit ragged. Good hard running from Thomas Lozana. Cowdo, good pass into Wyn Jones. He takes up the middle.
Oh, that's tremendous by their prop there. Oh, it's class.
Yeah, it's good turnover there. Because we didn't really do much wrong, but they, and this is what the level is. With the South African sides coming in, they've raised the level up, and I think we can't say, it caught us out, because last week we played Munster's reserves. That it could go on to become a really good thing, that game against Munster, in that it really gave us a rattle, give our heads a wobble, innit? Yeah, in that. It's woken us up in that you can't get away with performances like that in this league, no matter who you are playing, which is a good thing. I think,
yes.
Why have people always said, we want to go to the English league? Why? Because, it's perceived to be more intense, greater intensity and tempo and physical, and our players will benefit from it. Well, wake up everybody, suddenly our league has gone up a notch and it's up to us now to react to it. Sometimes you've got to look at yourselves. Why is our league bad? Well, we're in our league. We are responsible for making our league bad because we are bad. You know what I mean? Every team needs to look at itself and raise the game, and every team is. Apart from us, so far, we got left behind. Liam Williams has had his appendix out. So Mark Dunphy's asking where Liam Williams is. Sanjay's had removal of the appendix, so he'll be out until the Autumn Internationals, just in time for Team Wales to pick him.
Yes.
He has literally played, since he signed back from Saracens, he's played one game for us, and in that game he got red carded. so yeah. Tom Rogers is going to come on earlier. Have we had a knock, have we? I've missed this. Leinster on a peel and a wrap around.
Well done, Ken.
Good last-ditch tackle here. But we need to get set better. There's gaps here around the pillars again. And I don't like seeing it. Because that'll be meat and drink to Leinster.
Absolutely.
Long pass out. They go over the cross kick again. Looks a bit too long.
Oh, crap.
Oh, what?
They've scored, have they?
A cameraman? Is he on drugs? You got a close-up of what's about to happen, and he pans away from it to the other side of the field.
I know.
It looked like a try, because it looked like it bobbled into the path. Did it go forward?
Yeah, I think it's a try.
He's going to have a look at it. It could have gone forward. Depends whose hand that came off. Because if it came off a Leinster hand, it looked like it went forwards then. And
in goal.
Yeah. Does it count as still forward in goal? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Every now and again, the game will throw up a scenario where, it tests your knowledge on the laws, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? While we're waiting for this, so we'll have a look at Jason Palmer, the font of knowledge that he is. Yes, they are yurts. That's it, yurts. I was thinking utes. I was thinking utes from My Cousin Vinny with the judge. 2 utes. 2 utes.
Let's have a look at this then.
Let's have a look, yeah. Oh, nah, it looks like...
Oh, I think he's dropped, hasn't he?
I don't know. This will be the angle.
No, that's a try.
No, that's a try. Shame. It was Matt Dunphy, the cameraman. The one time, he was in the right position, wasn't he? And you could see that. And he decides to go over the other side of the stadium. Well, they're still looking at it. To be honest, has the ball gone forward or something, is it? Oh, I don't know.
I think he's dropped him. Watch this.
And is there another hand on it at the same time?
I think it's took a little bounce and then he's drawn with it.
There's a hand from each of them on the ball.
There, you see it there, look.
There's a scarlet hand coming in. Look, you can see Conbeer's hand coming in. In between his hand, that's a scarlet hand. Not grounded. That's a scarlet hand there, interfering, getting in between his hand. It's very, very tight. And credit to the officials because I thought, oh yeah, it's a try, but the more they've looked at it, the more I realised, what are they looking at? But that's twice they've done that crossfield kick, and in fairness to Conbeer, they've been hard ones to deal with, and he's been under pressure. No try, but he's going for a penalty.
No try.
Is he going back for a penalty?
Back for a penalty, yeah.
But 22 minutes gone, we can be reasonably happy with this, but what I'd like to do now is, if we're going to survive this, we need to survive this with just 3 points or something like that. No yellow cards, no big problems, no scrums going backwards. So Tommy Rogers on for McNichol. That actually makes us a little bit stronger in certain areas, to be honest. Tommy Rogers is an unknown quantity to a lot of people, and he's a star in the making.
Yeah. I completely agree.
The lonely Osprey lock not rolling away. I'll tell you what, he was dreadful last week. Someone said...
Leinster Zucker's on the bloody pitch, throwing his thing. Get on the line.
Oh, I noticed this. You brought that up. It's across the game. They're standing a yard in field, some of them now.
Yeah.
Right, before that was a big no, right? Then they were standing on the line. Then their heels were on the line and their feet were over the line. Now they're almost on the 5... Oh, it's a try there. They're almost on the 5 metre line now when the hookers are throwing in. Right?
Yeah.
But good try by Leinster there. Disappointing defence.
Powerhouse, isn't it?
Disappointing to let them in here like that, because it's worrying that they've had a quick chance there 5 metres out and we haven't stopped it. Let's have a look how this works here. Decent drive.
They just kept going round and round all the way. Look, they're just a good team.
They've gone narrow side. Yeah, that's just power there. And that's poor from us, really. We didn't manage to get that stop. You'd expect in any line-up.
Oh, how can he give that? You can't see that, can you?
Let's have a look.
Let me have a look at this again.
Well, he must have seen it from his side, from the ref's side.
Yeah, he must have.
So, well, so
the
conversion to come here now. Let's start getting the home try at least can be changed. And I'll get back to the comments in a minute now. Hope you're all enjoying. We're enjoying having you all in here, guys. Home points.
How old is Johnny Sexton now? About 13. I don't know, he's got about 54 or something, isn't he? He's looking old. Like you're playing for the veterans.
Whoa, what's happened? I have done something where... Oh, it's moved.
Oh, he's missed it.
Cool. For a minute.
8-all.
8-all, fascinating game. Now we need to give a bit of an answer, even if it's just to go up and get a penalty in response now. Don't wait till we go behind to get to make a response. So, right, I'm going to go back to the chat here, because there's some great chat coming in from you all, guys. I'm really enjoying these chats about the game and general.
Jason saying, Lonely Osprey lock, not drawn away.
Yeah.
We hate them even when they play for us. Even when they're helping us out, we don't like them, eh? Come on, you got to tackle him, eh?
Oh, yeah. Mark Dunphy saying...
Tackling 20 yards ago.
He's got Mongolian commentary. Well, you've got Turk commentary here from Turkestan.
Yeah.
So there's your choices, Mongolian or Turkestan.
Mahannis. Oh, look at this. Leinster, the machine is rolling here.
Yeah, they're looking dangerous here. Chip ahead.
Well done.
Well done, Sam Costello. Sam. Once again, this was Sam Costello. Oh, what's going on here?
Jameson Gibson Park didn't like it.
He's trying to get the ball. Cowder in there again, look. Rattling him.
God, David saying, who's on the Lions play, mate? Not you.
I can't believe he didn't get a game. He didn't get a game. And for me, he was the best scrum half there on the trip. I couldn't believe he didn't start. Not even a dirt tracking game. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Why even bother taking it? You know. But I think Colin Murray for me was nightmare. Yeah,
Colin Murray in the
Colin Murray is a scrum half. He's not my type of scrum half, right? He is very much in the mould of Stringer, right? Not shape on size. I'm on about how he plays the game. He doesn't really do much as an individual. TMO. What's going on here now?
Looking for a no arms tackle or something?
Oh, that won't be good for us because we're looking to have repelled the danger initially, and let's have a look. Was it a cheap shot on?
He's wrapped his arms around completely. Shut up.
There's nothing in that. Sexton, I'm sorry to any Leinster fans. Sexton is one of the most unsporting, annoying players to watch, right? Not for what he's done there, it's just everything he's done in the past. In this fixture, when we played them in a semi-final, the year we won the league, right? The whole instant leading up to our red card started with Cowdo trying to get the ball behind the goal line because Sexton had carried it over. So when Cowdo tried to get the ball off him, Sexton elbowed him in the head. And then there was a scuffle after it. And Cowdo got paid for it. Sexton would get away with... He always gets away with those things when he had no right to. You know what I mean? He gets
I
away
think
with
the
a lot
term
of things.
is rugby shithousery, innit?
Well, you said it.
I think that's the term, mate.
As a player, he's okay. I like him, right? He's better than most. But Leinster looking dangerous again here. Don't make this an easy score. Make them work hard for it. That's what we're asking. Good hit on Tag Furlong. Still didn't really stop him, but he looked like he was gaining momentum. And Leinster seemed to be having our number here. We're managing to legally slow this down. Is he over? It's looking ominous here. This looks like Leinster turning
the advantage as well.
Right.
They're going to pull the bloody post down if they carry on.
They're going to get his man Sam Costello pinned against the post. They look like they're over. And if they're not over, they're going to get over. We're lucky to get away with that and they're going to come back for the penalty.
We haven't got away yet today.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times, don't get me wrong, right? Every team, I'm not naive enough to think, right? If Leinster have won everything, and to win everything, you have to be horrible. To have the mentality to get above the rest, You've got to have that in you, and we haven't got it enough in us. The only one who has got it is Cowdo. Cowdo's got a bit of needle in him, where he can start an argument in an empty phone box, isn't it? Yeah? And Sexton's got that. Now, to an opposition fan, I can say it's annoying. If he was playing for my side, I would love him. He's very much like, like Luis Suarez was for Liverpool, like Eric Cantona was for Man United, right? And Tevez and Costa for Chelsea, right? I know I'm talking football now, but I'm just using these sort of analogies in that, you know, every team needs a player like that where, oh, come on, boys. There was nothing on there over. There's nothing on there for them. Well, our defence was set, but we're losing the contact. You know, they're getting heads of steam up against us, and you know, now is the time where this is a crucial time. Does this now? We arrest this slip and we get back in the game. Because if we get back in the game, now is the time to do it. You know, we've had a decent. Compared to last week, this is okay, but really, you know, we don't want to be just okay. We need to be in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just going to pop my webcam off a minute.
I mean, there's a number 4. Who's number 4?
For us.
Who's 4? Lowsy there.
Lowsy, yeah. He
was just standing there then. You know, I know number 9 is trying to stop their prop going over the line.
I'll be honest, I don't rate Lowsy, mind.
I don't either. There's people saying
on my WhatsApp
I
think we let the wrong man go.
No, people saying about the WhatsApp group, he's not the kind of lock we need. We need a bruiser, right? He's not a bruiser. He's a basketball player. You know, there's 2 kinds of locks now. You want a balance. You want a bruiser and a scrummager, and you want a basketball player and a line-out jumper. There's your balance, right? Similar to in the back row, you know. But I don't know. Our style has changed because of the personnel we've let go. We've let go 3 or 4 jacklers, right? Who were brilliant tacklers, who could turn the ball over and set the counter-attack win. Are they in again, yours? It's a replay. No, it's a replay, is it? Alright. I thought they were in again then. Because I haven't got the sound playing. Sometimes it can be a bit confusing.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Let's get back to the chat here then, boys. Yeah, this Loney Osprey lock, I think we need to send him back, to be honest. It wasn't an inspiring signing, was it? And this is where, and I will name him this week, I didn't name him last week, but John Daniels, questions need to be asked over people's roles within the Scarlets, because over the last couple of years, too many things have gone wrong. And you can pinpoint, you know, there's the support coaching of Dwayne Peel. Dwayne Peel and Hugh Hogan are new to their roles, and they need people around them that are capable. And right now, the other 2 coaches there, I will name them this week because I've had enough, basically, in Flanagan and what's the lock? Richard Kelly. They're not good enough. They're nowhere near good enough. How can they coach British Lions and internationals when they've never ever played at that level or been exposed to that level as a coach?
Flanagan needs to go and coach Pontypridd, I think.
Yeah, you know, in that we've given him his chance, but he's showing. I just don't think it's working, right?
No.
But the main one, we've got Peel there. Peel can really take the mantle there as a backs and attacks coach, right? From the point of being a head coach, he can help out there wherever you know, he can say things that a British Lion will listen to Dwayne Peel. You know, John Davis will listen to Dwayne Peel. Whereas when Di Flanagan is trying to tell John Davis and Scott Williams, you know what I mean? For me, outside looking in, that doesn't look like it's the right system, right? Also, on our recruitment, we've made some woeful choices, not just on the calibre of signing, but also on the squad balance and how they fit our system. And it goes back to the point that I was making about Lee Halfpenny. I think that was not the right signing for us, looking back. Okay, I know it was a gift horse. He was available. Nobody else was going in for him. We were going to go for him. But he doesn't fit as a fullback. He's not a Scarlet fullback. He doesn't fit our style. We've got to change our style to suit him. And much the same as Kasim, Bloomcheese, the
he was a non-starter,
he
wasn't he?
Worst choices in that they were players that just didn't fit our style, especially when we had a set style in place under P-Back, right? Where we had Tagburn, we had Barkley, we had Cubby, we had Scott Williams, we had John Davis. We all these players and the winger from Glasgow, they could all jackal, and we all played that counter, good defence, good threats of funneling runners down into a trap, right? We would funnel we'd leave a gap for the defence to run at, and where that gap was 2 or 3 jackalers either side waiting the pounce, right? It was tactically brilliant because we were playing around what we didn't have into what we had, right? Which was plenty of jackalers in our team. Then over the years, we've lost those players, so suddenly we've had to find a new style. But under Brad Moore, we didn't find one. We've brought in Blade Thompson. He's a luxury forward. I'm sorry, he's a luxury forward. He's nowhere near what we need.
No, I think he is. Oh, look at this.
And then again with the looks of it, they're making...
Not quite. Sam Costello made a great tackle.
Holding off the ball, it looked like there. They're making a lot of yards to get to our 22 too easily, for my liking.
Yeah, a little bit. They've knocked on. And Ken's knocked on as well.
Yeah, 2 knock-ons, which is worrying because then that means it's a scrum on the edge of our 22. Which at best, at least... you think it could very well be a kick a goal for Leinster to extend their lead, which they're building their lead nicely here now. We still haven't played really badly. It's still a massive improvement on last week, which says a lot about last week really, right? But what my worry is, this team seems to have a lot of brain fart moments in it, and a lot of switch off moments in them where they just go missing, and that worries me. Is that Sean Evans on? He played well when he came on actually last week. He didn't do too bad. I got so many messages coming in here. I don't know, people, I should have put it on silent to be honest, shouldn't I? More fool me. So yeah, 34 minutes gone, now I'm 15-8. We couldn't really have realistically hoped for much more than this after the debacle. I don't know if that's how you say it. The debacle. The horrific showing from last week. So let's get back to the chat here. Oh, they've taken a commercial break over there. Mark Dunphy says, I hope they're back now. It's still 8-all. No, it's not actually. I need to change the blooming scoreboard, don't I?
No, Mark actually said that they've replaced the rugby now on the TV over there with Mongolian
horse racing lines. I can see the chat below now. Oh well, so he is relying on us now. 2 Turks one in Penryn and one in Machynnes. I haven't updated the scoreboard, boys, have I? Now come on, Jason Palmer and Chris, you're slacking. You're supposed to be pulling me up on these things. Can you see what I did there to pass the buck?
Yeah, I did see that. Oh, Foxy.
Talking of which, are you going to buy the book from Anthony Buchanan? Is anybody going to buy...
Am I going to buy what?
There's a book out by Anthony Buchanan. Just released. It's got quite a nice cover of it. It's like a picture of him in this Adidas kit. And he's in colour, but Strady Park is in black and white behind him with the Strady scoreboard, and he's playing.
Nice.
That's the cover of the book. Looks quite intriguing. Obviously, Wales Online have covered a couple of snippets from the book that are quite controversial. From good tackle, Cawdor, Well done, because I can't stand that winger. He's good, but I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Any rugby player with a top knot, I can't stand, right? I would love to see any player with a top knot, I don't care how big they are, I would love to see them smash. I'd like to smash them myself, to be honest. With or without the ball, they're getting it.
James Lowe been a bit of a flop in the Ireland team, hasn't he? Everyone thought he was going to be class. He's not great.
But saying that, I mean, you know, you do get that sometimes. It happened with Sanjay. I know a lot of friends who I had gone on to, they don't watch Scarlets, but they do watch Wales. And I was saying about Sanjay coming through, he's class. And he was picked for Wales, right? And he didn't have a great couple of games when he first started playing Wales. And every, you know, they're like Wales fans who only watch Wales. They just go in on players. He's not good enough, and they haven't seen, like, you know what I mean, what
his club form and stuff.
Yes, is it. So, but he grew into it and became world class. I think Lowe has got the potential, even though I don't like him, and I don't like him because he's too good, and he's got a top knot, right? Don't worry. I mean, if he played for the Scars, I'd probably like him. He's that, you know.
He's your best mate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, thankfully, we've only got one player with a top knot. Sorry to anybody in the chat who's got a top knot, but I just can't stand them. I'm just one of these old school people that is like, it's wrong. It just looks terrible. It's not even, you can say it's in fashion all you want, right? I'm telling you it's not, right? It's not in my house, right? I would never let you over my front door if you had a top knot. And England seems to have a plethora of props with top knots. It seems to be a theme in England. I don't get that. I just really, really don't get that. But, you know, I'm not top knotist on a thing.
Top knotist?
Yeah, but I just don't like them. So I suppose I am, really. Looking dangerous again.
Another try.
Lozana's tackled well there, last ditch, but we're not driving them back at all. So this is looking ominous. So at half time they might just get over again.
Held up. Oh, he's pulled it back, look.
Yeah. And Johnny Williams is too busy trying to point. Well, he has been held up actually, but if he's held up, surely, yeah. I thought they changed this now. If he's held up, it's a drop up.
Yeah. So I was thinking, hang on, what's going on here?
If he's held up. Was he short of the line? For it to be a drop, or was he going to be held up over the line? Was he held up non-playable but short of the line? That's the only way it could be. Was that a knock on then I saw?
I thought that as well.
It's a good last ditch tackle, but from your 7, you'd expect him to line him up better and drive him backwards. He shouldn't be making ground against you. And that's positional then. You know what I mean? That's positional where he's new to the team. He's just arrived from the Super Rugby, isn't he? So he's going to take a little while to get into the swing of trying to work out for himself how the heck we play, because we don't know as fans, right? So you got to feel sorry for Lozana a little bit.
I tell you what, you know, talking about the league, you know, I think the new 4 South African teams which are coming have definitely added something. I think that I've been enjoying watching some of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. In that they took a little, and this is the difference, though, right? This is the difference in that when they came in and they struggled, within a week or two they turned it round. Right? They settled.
Look at the state
and they identified what they needed to do, right, and how to change, and they were a lot better. Looks like a fumble there. Is he going for the penalty?
Yeah.
We're going to stop these penalties, boys. It's not good enough. This is why the penalties are coming, because our defence isn't good enough. It's better than it was last week, but it's still not good enough. And that's why you're seeing them penalties being given away. Once a defence is better, players won't give the penalty away because they trust the defence. You know, am I talking rubbish there, or does that make sense? You know.
I tell you what, Tyke Furlong be enjoying himself. You mind scrummaging against Wynn? his old
Well,
his
this
Lions
is
pal,
the
like,
shame, right? I
giving him
mean,
a tune in as well.
you know, as somebody pointed out, and I'm not sure where it was, I think it might have been Paul Price said, the reaction last week online to that horror show, the cheerleaders online, basically, which Paul Price mentioned.
Support them when they win,
Oh,
support them
yeah,
when they
yeah.
lose.
I mean,
It's not about
you know,
we're not supporting them, is it? We're
exactly. There
supporting
comes a
them by
point
being
where you've
frustrated
got to
and wanting
highlight,
better.
yeah, you've got to highlight the fact that there's 2 British Lions in that front row, and last week they were getting schooled, and they're getting schooled again here.
And
that's not good enough. That
up.
should be our strongest element of play. We've got 2 British Lions there.
You know? Will Griff John is meant to be a huge awesome scrummager. So far, he's been nothing but crap.
You can't fully blame the front row. We haven't got the second row that can scrummage.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Right? We haven't got a boiler room. And that's the problem. In defence, you know what I mean? We haven't got a big hitter in defence. How many times you see a lock forward smash one of their forwards backwards? We don't do it. We can't do it. So we're always going to be... Teams know that's all they're going to do is get down close to our line and just go through phases. And once it goes through the hands of big forwards, they're going to make yards. Wyn Jones...
it's coming again, you know.
Yeah,
look,
they look tired. Yeah, this is dodgy, good cover, tackling. Oh, don't tell me he's going to... we did really well there to stop it. Hopefully he's not going to go back for another penalty.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a card.
He's going to give a card now as well. Or at least a warning.
A team card this will be. There's been over 5 penalties, yeah.
But what was it from? It must have been from the scrum, is it? But one thing, you said about the South Africans, the greatest thing I've enjoyed from the South African involvement is the officials. But in general, the officials across the board have been better in that they haven't affected. The only one I think has affected the result drastically was Andrew Brace when the Stormers were reffed off the park in the second half against Munster. But I'll be honest with you, that second team that Munster sent over last week played better rugby than the first team, the better team did the previous week, if that makes sense.
That's what I was alluding to, what I said earlier.
Right.
About I think we should give more of our, sort of second players and youngsters a go. If things go wrong.
There's a good comment
again
from...
today,
Sorry, Chris. Yeah.
Oh, go on, you.
But Paul Price was a good comment there.
He's kicked that ball back into the scrum.
3 minutes into the red, he's going to go penalty try. Penalty try, is it?
Yeah.
The cameraman is on drugs.
He must have been the same one as in Leicester.
What is he on? Yeah.
He's the same one that was up in Leicester, like.
At where?
Leicester.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a decision there. We all needed to be seeing what the ref was giving there. The one area where he was showing was where the ref wasn't. Because the ref had gone under the post. We needed to pan out a little bit from that to see what the ref was giving. As soon as the ref blew his whistle, we needed to pan out. I mean, even I know that. This is why, I don't know if it's the same camera work for SOC, but it's dreadful. Right.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I'm going to go back. Let's go to a couple of the comments. You're really enjoying these comments, guys. Keep them coming. We've got lots to talk about as well. Other things throughout rugby and general as well. Where are we? I'm just seeing where we were. Jack Smith saying, I don't see why we box kick all the time, just giving the ball away. It's because they're scared of getting caught. Their forwards haven't got the intensity to be able to go through multi-phases and protect that ball. They're worried about losing it. Lozana is new on the scene, so we're not going to have been gelled really. So we're just looking for field position basically. Which I see what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. It's the wrong thing to do, but at the same time, I can see why they're doing it. They're low on confidence after last week. They're just trying to get through this game basically. That was a disappointing try to give away at the end there, but it was coming. But it is. I tried to skim over the fact of a lot of people were telling me we're short on locks. And whilst I agreed we were, I didn't see it being that much of a problem. But you see it now, these locks we've got, they can't scrummage. It's costing us scrum time, and that's a big part of allowing teams to dominate you then. Is if your scrum isn't solid on either ball, that's a big problem. And what's the coach of the scrums, the New Zealander? Ben Franks. He should be going to Peel, or with Peel, to John Daniels and banging his head into his desk. Right?
I agree.
Wake up! You can't play rugby without solid locks. You can't just go and take loan players from the Ospreys who has been stealing a living at the Ospreys for years, right? Lloyd Ashley, right? I know he's not there today, is he? But he is he? Yeah, he is playing. Is he?
Yeah, he's starting now.
I haven't seen him once. I have not noticed him once. That's shocking.
He gave him about 3 penalties away.
Are you sure he didn't go off after a minute injured or something? Because I have not seen him all game.
Oh, he's still there.
Wow. Because I thought...
also, mate, update our scoreboard, please. 22-8.
Will do. And then what I'm going to do is, I finished doing the chats, and I'm going to go quick and make a cuppa, right?
Carry on, you.
Home tries is... there. So you keep chatting while I'm doing this, and Chris.
Of course, yeah, I'm just reading through the comments here. Jack Smith saying that last score came from a box kick. Absolutely. We kicked the ball away way too much.
Oops. Sorry, but honestly, don't put yourselves. It's not 152 points that we're losing, right? It is 22, isn't it? 22 to the ad.
22 points to 8, yeah.
Yeah. Because I haven't got the scoreboard in front of me on the screen now. So yeah, that's disappointing from a half, which it does actually reflect Leinster's dominance, but it's a shame because it's a positive and it's a negative. It's a disappointing thing, but it is a positive in that we're being dominated easily in crucial areas of the game, which is disappointing, but they are fixable in that it's a coaching thing and it's a personnel thing. It's a bit of both, to be honest, right? As much as I say it's a coaching thing, Richard Kelly, we need someone better than Richard Kelly there to be coaching our forwards, right? But at the same time, even if you had an amazing someone like Pat Lam coming in or someone like that, right? He wouldn't coach our forwards, but I'm just saying someone who could coach our forwards. I'd love to see like a Dean Ryan come in, because he's getting the Dragons' defence and forwards playing well. And they're not great. You know what I mean? They haven't got a great tight 5, but they're playing well as a tight 5. They look better than us at the moment, right? And you look at the names in that pack, they're not household names. He wouldn't take a forwards coaching role at Scarlets when he's the head coach of the Dragons. You probably think he's why would he do that? But that's... Even if we were to bring in a quality forwards coach, okay, he can only work with who's there, and who's there currently is not good enough for those positions. They're not. Sam Lucy is once again very much like Blade Thompson. He's a luxury forward. He's not your bread and butter, So. Let's get back to the chats, and then I'm going for my cup of tea while Chris takes over for a bit.
Absolutely. Mark is asking, penalty try, was there a yellow card? I don't think so.
No, we were lucky to get away with them, but I think if we give away the first penalty in our own half, in the second half, we'll get the yellow. It's coming. And this is where we need to give the referee a different picture to see now. He's being lenient with us. He could have given it a lot earlier, to be fair, right? Sorry, I'm just catching up. Jack Smith. I've been watching rugby in Sweden recently, and they only box kick when they know they're going to get the ball. We're just box kicking under pressure and not going to win the ball. Exactly, there's a poor chase. The kick is poor. Now, South Africa kick a lot, but they kick intelligently in that there's a tactic behind it. We are just kicking because we don't know what to do, and it's evident.
It's it's like we're doing it just to go through the motions, and because
Yeah.
I'm a scrum half, I haven't done a box kick in a while. Let's do one.
Yeah. I
Most of the
feel
time,
for
it's
Johnny
the wrong times.
McNichol. I don't know what they said was wrong with Johnny McNichol, but he went off not long after scoring. It's not a good sign that he is someone who is struggling with injuries a lot, too much.
Oh, he's back on now.
Oh, he's back on, is he? Because he did go off.
Yeah, the HIA, yeah. Tommy
Oh,
Rogers went off
HIA,
and he's
right,
come back on.
good. That's good then. Because I hadn't noticed. I'm concentrating on like scoreboard, the stream, and a lot of other things, and I get distracted and I don't notice everything that's going on in the game then sometimes. That's why it's always good to have a co-host. See? That's when I struggled last week. But to be honest, there was nothing really. It was just me sitting there ranting basically and laughing. I was laughing by the end of it, yeah, last week. It was ridiculous. Right, I'm going to go for make a quick cuppa. I might try and toast a power crumpet. That's the best.
Give it a bash, mate.
Right, give it a
just
bash.
Toast on
anything. Right, yeah.
Just come back with a picnic.
Right, okay. I haven't in terms of advice, so I haven't even got chocolate in or nothing. Right, I shall see you in a bit. Take care.
There we are, pal. Carry on now. We're open, guys. Absolutely for a stronger second half. Like I think Paul said in the chat, was it Paul? Defense is much better than last week. Yeah, exactly. Yet look at the score. Exactly. But there's one difference to last week. We're not playing Munster's seconds today. We're playing Leinster's first team, and they are an absolute powerhouse. That's the difference. Penalty try, but there's got to be a yellow card. I didn't see him give a yellow card. I didn't hear the commentators say anything about it, so I don't think he did. I think he's shown a bit of empathy here, to be honest with the referee. I think he's shown a little bit of empathy. Look, they're having a tune in right now. Let's not give him a yellow card. Let's give him a chance to fight a little bit. If I was a referee, that's what would have been going through my mind as well. But just watching the highlights here now, and we're just far too weak. Like their props, you know, 1-for-1 will all outpower our props. Their second rows will outpower ours. You know, in a basic, say like a wrestle, they'd always win. They're just such a powerful team. Even in the backs, some of their backs are built like second rows, and they just crush us in every facet, you know. But hopefully, there's some magic to come from us in the second half. We have been a bit of a second half team in the past. Hopefully, we can emulate that today. Be nice to see, wouldn't it? But yeah, right now it's not looking too good. Let's hope for a little bit of magic. Couple of knock-ons or a couple of, you know, stupid passes, a couple of scrappy tries for us or whatever. We'll take it. Keep us in the game. I think if we can get back in the game and be there the last, you know, 5-10 minutes, we could snatch something, you know, the way we play sometimes. But at the minute, it's not looking great, really, is it? It's not looking great at all. Rob Carney, sitting in the box there watching the game in the studio. He's aged like a fine wine. Look at him. He can literally finish up the rugby now and go straight into a modelling pants, I think. There we are. Chris, this could be a fight. Yeah, I agree with you. Samson does need to come on. I think things will tighten up a little bit in the scrums, at least when he comes on. I'm hoping it's not a 40-pointer. It could be more. You know, we're playing Leinster. You're not, like I said, Munster seconds. You know, as good as they were last week. Well, I wouldn't say they were that good. I think we were bad, really bad. But I don't know. It's just we're in a slump. I mean, something's got to be done to drag us out of it. Like John Barkley's sitting in the box, so it looks like he's got tears in his eyes. It's hurting him. Also, guys, don't forget we do have the live interview with former Scarlet legend Dave Hodges coming up very soon. We're just in the process of thrashing out a date with him. That should be a great watch. You know, it'll be nice to tune in and watch us just interviewing David Hodges and not a crazy night. Yeah, but we need two good soil second. Absolutely. I was baffled when I know Tex, for all he was, he used to give away a lot of yellow cards and penalties and stuff, but he was a powerhouse. We could have done with keeping hold of someone like him, you know. Jack, I do think bringing on the support, the bench nicely is a good idea. You don't just chuck them all in and say, right, try and change the game. That's a bad idea. One try will change it, yeah, probably. Amber, you're spot on. They are completely much stronger than us. I'm a Munster supporter, but I'm enjoying watching this and listening to you, Lauren. Jalopy, thank you very much, buddy. Welcome on in. Congratulations for last week as well. You absolutely ripped us a new one last week. 40 seconds into the second half. A knock on from the kickoff by none other. Oh, it's James Lowe, okay. James Lowe. I was watching a game once with a friend, right, the Leinster game, and I said to him, right, let's put a couple of quid on it. Who can get the closest number to the amount of times James Lowe will pull his hair out of his bobble, ruffle it up a little bit, and put it back in the bobble. He does it all the time. You look at him, you'll see him in the game, right? Takes his bobble out, fluffs his hair around a little bit, and then back in. He does it a lot. I pick up on these little things weirdly. Lucy and Thompson need to go really after their contracts up. I agree. Do you know what, right? I was excited when we signed Blade Thompson. I thought, you know, I watched a few highlight videos and things, and he looked the real deal. But let's be honest, since he's been with us, he's not really done a damn thing, has he? Let's be completely honest. And 2 locks and a monster night be great. Agreed. And I hope I'm proved wrong, but Will Griffjohn looks to be another dud signing. Yes, there's a reason he hasn't been capped yet. Put it that way. Sounds weird when you call me Amber. Yeah. No yellow card on the penalty try then. Good on the ref, not taking away this fighting chance. No, Sebastian, not taking away our last dying chance.
What did I miss, boys? I'm back.
Not a lot, pal. Not a lot.
Can't get it. Yeah.
What's going on here?
I've been a bit thrifty with the blackcurrant jam. I'm sorry, boys, but I got power crumpets, right? Let's see if these will work as like the Bakewells did. Okay.
Hopefully.
I don't know what's going on with the game. One thing I remembered. Right. Wow, we've got some new names coming in here. There's Sebastian Kramer and Sloppy Jalopy.
Sloppy Jalopy.
No, please tell me these are your real names. Please tell me these are your real names, because they are brilliant. You know, credit to...
Imagine that, like, you go in the doctors. Hello, Mr. Jalopy, please.
No, you're making fun. If they say, oh, if that's his real name, then...
I think it's cool, I do.
Oh, you're saying that now, you're turning it around now because you think you're going to drive...
No, I'm just saying, it'd be funny, go to the doctors. We have Mr. Jalopy. Room 1, please.
No. Well, it is what it is. The thing is, when you've got a name like that, you'll always stand out above the crowd, won't it?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I can't believe you're making fun of my name. So, do you drive a jalopy, or is it actually a surname? Are you from a family of jalopy drivers, or is that a correct spelling of jalopy? Am I getting the right meaning from jalopy? I wish it was my name. I tell you what, nobody would ever forget you, Sloppy, if that was really your name. And we won't forget you. We will never, in fact, every stream we do from now on, we will say, as soon as we go live, where's Sloppy? Get Sloppy in here.
Get Sloppy in here. I will not make fun of your name, but if we were, you can surely allow us it after the hammering you gave us last week, right?
Exactly.
Give us something, for Christ's sake.
Is he a Munster fan, is he?
He is a Munster fan, yeah.
Oh, right, I missed that bit. Because I was about to say, there's a few in here now, and obviously we've got a few that have told us where they're watching the game from. Obviously, there was, trying to remember which one's from where now. Which is the one in Ulaanbaatar? Let me have a look.
Irish fella.
Paul, Mark Dunphy is in Ulaanbaatar. And then the one in Switzerland was, is it Jack Smith or is it, no? Who was the one in Switzerland? Or was he's been in Switzerland, huh? Can't remember. But anyway, right, listen, anyway, make things easier. Rather than me scroll through, I was going to say, we always like to know where everybody's watching from, because it really, I can picture it then, who I'm talking to, or like, it gives us, like, when we know that we're talking, where people are listening from vast, distances apart from us, like Wellingborough, or then it gives me a G up in that. It makes me think, the channel is doing okay, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, right, game's kicked off, score's still 22-8, Leinster in possession, and then, well, we're lucky that Leinster's passing is a bit off. That didn't go backwards. That looked forwards.
Wow.
And he's in as well. We've stopped playing there because that looked like a knock-on.
That guy bringing his own drink into the ground.
I tell you, it's poor from the Scarlets there. They all stopped. And it's, they're making things harder for themselves because all the work they've done to try and stay in this game is gone. Because they just reverted to being... I mean, this is the incident, watch this pass there. Now that's a knock forward. That's gone forward.
Yes, it is. It's touches hand and gone forward. It's technically a knock on, yeah.
So the ball has travelled forward from his hand. So, but we all stop playing. This is the great issue. I'm not going to criticise any official, because officials eventually will miss things. You've got to be on point.
That's gone, surely.
Well, they're looking at it, I think, aren't they? So...
No, I think they are.
They've given the try, have they?
Believe so, yeah. He's lining his kick up.
Wow! I mean, it's not going to make a difference to the scoreline, but at the same time, let's get on this scoreboard then. And once we've done this and things are settled a bit, I'll try and remember that story about the Leinster fans. Because I can see it all riveted, waiting to hear it.
And a conversion as well. 29-8.
Terrible. Excuse me. Burping away here. I'm burping away because I can smell my crumpets, but I haven't had a chance to have a bite of one yet. Right, yeah, 29-8. Not good. But it's a reflection of the game in that the Scarlets have they've just allowed the Waves. They're not offering anything back. And we're lucky to get away with a knock on there. There's a collision head to head there, I think. Both players look to have collided there. I worry about these situations because in Leinster, the defending team, if I'm not sure if it's Cowdor going up for this, but if Cowdor has caught him, yeah, it's accidental, but this worries me. A sickening blow of heads here. He's going for a tackle.
And Cowdor's it is on the deck. Look,
yeah, that's the one. But they've clashed heads here, temple to temple, which is worrying for both players.
Yeah.
Jack Smith says a red card. I know he hasn't led with the head here. They've both dipped in. He's trying to tackle him man on ball. I don't think this is a red, but it does worry me that it could quite easily be in the day and age. There's no reason why they wouldn't. You know what I mean? For me, it's not. Look, the ball has bounced. He's not expecting that play to knock the ball on. He's expecting the play to catch the ball. And he's lining up the tackle. Man and ball. Oof. But he hasn't led with the head. But it is a clash head on head. Technically, they will give a red. They will give a red card for this. He's got his tackle wrong. They're both crouching down.
Let's have a listen in, yeah.
He's saying that they both lowered the tackle down, so it'll be a yellow. Maybe. penalty only.
Play on.
Well, this is it.
Common bloody sense.
Good, well done. And I'm glad to see, is he okay? He's going off for a check. I don't want to see any... I agree with the rule of, like, we've got to protect players from leading, swinging arms and leading with the head. But you could tell Cowder was not looking to injure him. There was a last-minute thing there. He thought that guy's going to catch the ball and going to tackle him man and ball. He's gone in
does all the time.
He's going in with the shoulder to his chest. It's just their heads have clashed in a weird position, that's all. Sloppy Jalopy says, good call there. I agree with you. And
common sense,
it is common sense. I am relieved though, because I wouldn't have been surprised to see a red card. I wouldn't have been surprised to see a penalty or a yellow card.
It depends on the ref.
But well, this is it. And this is what I'm on. This ref's South African, I think. I think they're more in tune with the game. I mean, people say about Nigel Owens being the best ref in the world, right? He was never in tune with any game he ever refed, especially for us, right? I know that's controversial, but all the Muppets out there who only watch international rugby, right? They'll go, he's the best ref in the world, right? He's not. Because he was corrupt.
People just like him because he's funny, innit? He comes out with his nonsense comments.
He's on the mic, right? He needs to do a channel like what we are. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Right? But they've got him in the studio now, haven't they? That's it.
We'll have to try and get him on here.
Just when we thought we got rid of him, he's there even more now. They've given him a mic of his own. That's it.
Yeah.
Talk about McHunnis having bandwidth. Yeah.
Ponteberem's got it as well.
Ponteberem's got it as well now. I hope he watches this. Because I do, it's tongue in cheek, right? But...
Better scrum,
he
much
has
better.
Been a frustrating ref. There's a good passage of play here for the Scarlets, and they might be able to just, if they can get a score. This is good hands here, Johnny McNichol in a bit of space, pops a pass, and it's a good try. And it's Lozano on his debut. Try, get in there. Happy with
good
that.
Try.
Because that
Johnny Mack with a lovely little slip there.
That gives them and the ref something to think about. That ref isn't thinking, I'm reffing a game here, this one-way traffic. Okay, so that puts that in the ref's mind. It puts it in Leinster's mind of, are you going to slip into a bit of psychological quicksand here in the match? And maybe, because you've seen it with teams before, they can switch off and bang, 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 couple of scores, suddenly they can't get back to where they were. Yep. You know what I mean? They're dominating the game, everything's going well, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 things go wrong and they can't get back out with the momentum swings, you know? Now, I think the scoreline is too far ahead for any momentum swing to make a difference, but it can give us some confidence going into our next game. Dan Dinky Jones is on. Jason Palmer's favourite. What, my default speaker?
He's nailed it as well.
Is my sound okay, boys? Because I'm having some weird things coming up on my PC.
You're good, mate.
I'm alright, am I? Everybody can hear me okay? So yeah, that was a well-worked try there. Nice floating pass from Johnny McNichol. He's far more effective on the wing. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes.
I need to do my scoreboard. Away tries.
We should have some sort of channel alert where people can type something and it pings up a noise.
Exactly.
So, maybe I'll do my voice. Oh, Nick, do the scoreboard, boy.
Yeah.
Something like that, and it plays out loudly.
Exactly. Whenever it happens. But yeah, guys, in the chat, if you see that we've forgotten the scoreboard, remind us in the chat, guys. Done the tries. We points. That's what I want. 15 we're on there. So you had the conversion, because I wasn't watching. Yeah. That's a good conversion to have, because it's quite wide out, wasn't it? And it was the wrong foot. Or is Dan left-footed? Can't remember.
Oh, he's right-footed.
He's right-footed, so the wrong side for him. So kicking off here. Right, before we go back to the chat, and hopefully there won't be too much play here now, while I say there's a story that connects Leinster fans to Llanelli. Back in the day, it was the season of 2006 when the Scarlets were they had a good season in Europe and they reached the semi-final. And they went unbeaten in the pool stage. And if you remember, we played Toulouse at home the week before playing them away, where we had that famous win. And what happened was, Leinster, a group of Leinster fans, they had travelled to somewhere like Bristol, Bath, or somewhere in the West Country the night before, on the Friday, okay? And as they were travelling back for the ferry, obviously down the M4 and down to West Wales to Pembroke Dock or whatever, right? They decided, well, there was a game in Stradi, Llanelli against Toulouse, so they thought, we'll stop in Llanelli on the way home and catch that game. So we'll just... And they knew nothing much about Llanelli or anything like that. And they get there, and of course it's a big game, right? Toulouse at home, the town was bouncing, the Kilkenny Cat was bouncing, and they stumbled across the Kilkenny Cat, right? And they couldn't believe, now right back in 2006, okay, a pint of Guinness, which in fairness, the Kilkenny Cat is one of the rare areas where you can get Guinness that tastes more or less as good as what it is out in Ireland, as close as you can get to it. It's not quite there, but it's much better than most British Guinness, right?
Yes.
Because we all know you send us the rubbish stuff and keep the good stuff for yourselves, right? But what they did, they got a great welcome in the Kilkenny Cat with all the Scarlet fans and the singing, and a good few pints of Guinness were down as well. But what they couldn't get over was that it was about £2.70, £2.80 a pint in the Kilkenny Cat.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't believe it, and they were just like throwing money. They were buying drinks for everybody. They were going crazy because they used to obviously doubling prices, right? Which even back then...
What was that? Doubling prices? Is that a pun there? Doubling prices?
Why?
Or doubling prices?
Oh, doubling... I didn't even realise it. See, I'm that good, not even I can keep up with myself. Not doubling prices. Yeah, no, because even back then, I'm sure they were something like €8 a pint. 8 to €9 a pint. It's about 9 or 10 now. But even back then, it was expensive for them. So they went home after that. When they finally got home, as a group of them, there was only about, say, 8 or 9 of them, I think it was, and they literally spread the word, not about the trip they'd been on, but their journey home through Llanelli. And they said to everyone they knew, they said, you've got to go to Llanelli for a game. When we play Llanelli next, we've got to go to that game. That place is bonkers, they said, because they went, obviously, town was bouncing, they went to Le Caprice, they went to Met Bar, they went to Moonraker or
Scarlets.
And they went all, when Llanelli town was bouncing, they managed to absorb that, and it became folklore to this group of fans that we're definitely doing it. And they managed to spread the word, and a few more of them came with them, and it grew into a big trip in that when we were at Stradi, Leinster fans were coming over all the time. And even if they were passing through, they would call in the Llanelli, and that was just the link. There was a lovely story and a lovely link how Leinster fans discovered Llanelli. It wasn't through even playing against us. It was by accident that they were just travelling through, and it grew into a big sort of annual trip that they would love to do, And I think they do still come in good numbers, but back then at Stradi in Kilkenny Cat, it was amazing, So
I remember when we played them home once, and in Kilkenny Cat afterwards, it was epic. I remember it. I was only about 15, 16 at the time. It was tremendous.
Kilkenny Cat was always great, especially anyone from outside Wales come in. They would call there, and the atmosphere in that pub was another level. It's not a massive pub, but it had that sort of, I don't know, culture, whatever you want to call it. You used to have live music. You couldn't move in there, could you? Oh, you couldn't move. There was live music in there, but the atmosphere was just electric, because it would be like the electricity from Stradi in the ground during the game then would filter into the Cat after the game. Win or lose, it was, you know what I mean. But more often than not, it was we had a good run. That was a helping thing in that those European nights in Stradi, we were always doing well, and we had a good team. So that's what was building the excitement around the town. And then away fans, when they were coming to the town, were getting absorbed by it as well. You know, it's not quite the same as what it was, because we've never really had the same sort of level of team and excitement around the team as what used to happen. But it does get quite good around like Halfway Hotel and places like that, around Park of Scarlets on a big game. It is good in there, being in there where there's good singing. It's quite acoustic in there as well, so the singing gets quite good. But
I think for me, right, the worst thing we did was move from Stradley Park. I think what we should have done is what Ulster did, and just redevelop the ground stand by stand over a couple of seasons, like a Ravenhill now, you know what I mean, or whatever it's called these days. I think everything about Stradley was perfect. The area, the pubs nearby.
Yeah, the problem was the funding. The funding for Park of Scarlets was coming from selling the ground. You know, whether people want to agree with it, that was the fact. Is like the money wasn't there to develop Stradley. And if we'd have stayed in Stradley in that current state, would have been left behind. I think, to be honest, it's the only reason we've stayed where we are. Because we've gone through some lean times player-wise, financially, players leaving. We have. And the one thing that's kept us going is that we've got good facilities and a good training base that's built for us. Does, you know, when we've produced the odd player that does want to stay, they've got the facilities there that, you know, because at Stradley it was horrific, right? The facilities were terrible. I was an apprentice. Fitter, turner, welder, back when I was like 16, 17. And one of our contracts, I was working for a firm making multi-gyms, and one of our contracts was for Stradley. And I built as an apprentice. There was no workers. The apprentices were making the stuff, right? And we made that stuff. I'll admit, like, I wasn't the best welder at 16, 17, right? I was still learning. And that's what the gym equipment they were still using when they left Stradley. They're still using that same stuff. I went in sometimes to see, and I could see all the snobs all over the welds that I hadn't chipped away. It was terrible, right? And how it didn't break, I don't know, you know? But yeah, so that's, I always got like a nice affinity with Leinster fans. And from the couple of times I've been to Dublin now, because I'd never been, that was one of the trips I'd never done either, was Dublin. I'd been to Ulster, I'd been to Munster, never been to Galway. I booked it, but the storms came and cancelled the ferry. I've got a B&B booked ready for when I do get to Galway for an away game. But Dublin was one of these places where I find their fans very approachable, very friendly, very respectful and chilled, and happy to have a drink and a joke with you. Very, very, you know, they're not like-minded, because we're from a town-based, rural sort of thing, and they're from a big, you know, capital city. But they're surprisingly chilled and friendly for some people that are from a capital city, I would say. But I don't know, perhaps I've just been lucky. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just the face I've got. The people, I make people happy, and they're happy to me, and I'm happy to them. I don't know. I'm not bragging.
Sebastian Grammer said in the chat, look, alcohol connected Leinster fans to Llanelli, lovely Irish story.
Well, this is it. It was one of those. I mean, the story of the Kilkenny Cat as well is it is a traditional Irish pub. It's not a plastic party sort of Irish bar, right? It is a traditional Irish bar that's run by Una and Steve. Una is Irish. I'm not sure if she's from Kilkenny, and that's why they called it that. I'm not sure where she's from in Ireland. I can't remember. And as far as I'm aware, they're still running it to this day. They've still survived, even though Stradley left. It's more focused on now live music and things like that. It's still a cracking pub. Leinster over. We got distracted here. Good try from Leinster.
Good
fans seem to be resigned to just clapping and just applauding this, and they seem relaxed. Leinster fans don't seem to be. You know when you're giving a team problems, their fans will spot it, and their fans start getting uppity. Now, Leinster fans aren't, it's not really in Leinster fans' culture to be like that. In Munster and Ulster it is. Where if they can see
look at
things... What's
Cian
that?
Healy. Oh no, he just switched it from one hand to the other. Okay, he looked like he was
Right.
passed the ball forward on the floor.
Ah, right, yeah. Right. Oh, what's he done here? What's he doing here? He's asking to look at something. He has been called for something here, has he?
He's having a look at something. I
Yeah,
think
he's
it's
having a
in the
look at
act of
this
scoring.
try. Yeah. I mean, this is, as a performance goes and as a scoreline goes, this is more or less what I expected. The only problem is there's still only 60 odd minutes on the clock.
Yes.
And, you'd like to see us rally a bit, and make this scoreline. Could they pull ahead again if this try is given? So what's happening here? And
what are they looking at here now?
I'm not sure what they're looking at, but this is the thing with, you can see it, well, that could be offside. But he's telling him to get back, and he didn't retreat. But he still didn't make it. He still got driven backwards. This is why I say Blake Thompson is a luxury forward. He's not the sort of forward we need. He's a forward who likes to wait out in the channels and run with the ball in hand like a basketball player, right? Which is fine when you're dominating games. Well, this is Shoppy Jalopy has brought up the very subject I was about to bring up about this, and they have christened it the Leinster Latch, because it's basically what they did to us in the semi-final of Europe, where there's no way you can tell me Devon Toner can carry a whole pack driving forward on his own, right? There's two players latching onto the tacklers before, and it's illegal. It isn't legal. You can't latch onto a tackler before there's a ruck. You can only ruck a player or maul a player when there's a maul.
Yes,
but they're doing it before the maul or the ruck is formed. They are latching onto that tackler so that they're also, and it's almost like in American football where you have blockers. No, they're not blocking him, but what they're doing is they're driving that tackler backwards to allow the ball carrier to look like he's driving the player backwards.
It's very clever.
Oh, it's very, very clever. It's very, very clever. I'm 20% annoyed at Leinster, one, for doing it, 20% annoyed at refs for not picking it up, but I'm 60% annoyed for us not copying it. if it's open to be used, then why the heck are we not doing it? You know what I mean? If that's an easy way to get yardage, then we should be doing it. I mean, if you cast your mind back, Gareth Jenkins was doing something similar with when we had Martin Madden and Dav Jones and people like that, right? We would always have a forward that would take the initial hit. Diogenes again, a master at it. We would do that is like when we managed to go forward ball against Leicester's and people like that, right? People with massive packs. We had a big pack ourselves back then, but we would use that tactic to get over the game line and set a ruck. And we were far more organised back then than what we are now, and the game's far more professional now. So it's so did they disallow that? I haven't seen yet.
What? No, they're giving that try. 36-15 is the score.
Okay, right. Yeah. Let's get on the scoreboard then. Home tries, which is worrying. But to be honest with you, performance-wise, it's a lot better than what I'd feared.
At the minute, man. At the minute.
But there's a long time to go, and this is it. Now we need to use this to get some confidence back in our game. Because when we've offered them, when we've asked questions of them, we've proved that we're on a level where when it comes to attacking, we can give them problems they haven't got answers to.
You see that then, right? This is what makes Leinster so good, right?
Right.
They passed the ball 9 to 10 or wherever it was, and about 10 yards behind where the ruck was. We've gone up and met them, made the initial contact, and they've still gained ground from where the last ruck was.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. There's such a powerful side.
Is this Devon Toner coming on? It looks too young.
No.
Is he getting younger? No, it's not him, is it?
It's Ruddock.
Is it? He's a big boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
They're all big. And this is, you know, time and time again, we make signings and our forwards, they're just not big enough. They're just not big enough. We've got too many forwards. You can get away with one or two, but we haven't got one. We haven't got one good ball carrier that is just naturally big, you know? And can just take that ball in and just walk forward without having to. With all the forwards at the moment, they've got to.
There he goes, look.
Oh,
sorry, I was saying in the half time about James Lowe. He always takes his hair, his bobble out, fluffs his hair up a little bit.
You got to do something for the ladies.
For the cameras, isn't it?
Yes, is it, isn't it? Oh, all the women in the crowd will be going, oh, I got now, innit? You know what they're like. What's Amber doing?
I don't want to know.
You always tell me that. Why are you in your Welsh jersey today, anyway?
I just had it on, mate, to be honest with you. I thought I'd leave it on.
Thomas Sheehan in the chat, I can see. Nice to have you in, pal. Been to Dublin several times and only have bad memories other than the Pro 12 final. I tell you what, the Pro 12 final was fantastic in that I had a Leinster fan next to me, even though we were playing Munster, because obviously Leinster fans had bought tickets thinking they were going to make the final and we beat them in semis. So I sat next to one of them, right? And then in front of me, with his missus, I had a Munster fan. And I was giving them some, I had a few Guinness, obviously, you know. But what was weird, I was caught on TV. I was caught on TV doing, in this tracksuit, doing this, right? Look like a football hooligan. And, you know, this is the thing of editing. You know, don't believe a word of things that are on the media, on the news and stuff like that, right? Because whatever we see has been heavily edited to tell a story that fits an agenda, right? And this is, the camera pans to me and I'm celebrating doing this stupid dance, right? And I'm like, can't believe they caught me on TV doing that in the crowd, right? And, but this is the other side of the story. Like, when you watch that footage, that's all you see is me acting like a dope, right? But what you can't see is Rob Evans has come up to right where I am and done that to us. He's dancing, playing the phone. So I did it back to him. Not realising I'm on TV, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and to be honest, nobody really mentioned it to me, apart from, oh, we saw you on TV. And I was like, alright, okay. And when I looked at it back, I was like, oh, no, ground swallow me up now, please. Like that. Because it was people who I respect that told me as well, you know what I mean? People who I didn't want them to see me drunk and acting like a Burke. And my shirt was hanging out and everything. My t-shirt was on under my tracksuit, but it was hanging out my trousers, you know, out of my jeans, like barely showing a bit.
Like nobody's
it
trying
wasn't
to
as good look. It wasn't a good look. I can't see it catching on. Leinster.
One of the worst things that's happened to me on TV through a rugby match.
Right.
When we played Munster in that quarter final, right?
Yeah.
Remember that years ago in Stradi?
Yeah.
And at the time, I had a girlfriend, right? And down the game, I happened to be standing on the terrace next to another girl who was in school with me.
Right.
Who was a bit of a friend and stuff. And we scored a try. And I was live on TV, jumping around, turned to her, grabbed her and kissed her. And my girlfriend was watching the game on TV.
Oh. Hey.
At the time. It was nuts, it was.
That is... Sorry.
I tried to get out of it, but it didn't work. I said, look, I was just happy the Scarlets scored. I didn't know what to do. I just kissed somebody, sorry.
I can't remember his name now, but there was a famous guy, an old guy, who used to be on... And Mother Lips is in the chat. Idiot, she says. But your story is remarkable. Remarkably like. There was Leinster look as if they're going to be in for another try by the looks of it, you know. Remarkably, like
coming.
there was a popular, I can't remember what his name was, but everybody knew his face, and he was on the terrace in a group of hardcore Scarlets, right? Always had a can of Stella, right? And he'd bring a different girl to the game every game, right? But none of them were his wife, right?
No.
And but he'd always get away with it. You know, he had this separate lifestyle that people sort of knew, like, all right, he's got a different girl everywhere. But then someone would tell you, yeah, and he's actually got a wife, like back up home in the Gwendraeth somewhere, right? None the wiser. And he's like, oh, all right, you know, it's like it's lethly in it when he's got, you know, the gossip, the grapevine goes, like people talk, right? But nobody had ever told his wife what was going on there now, right? Every week, Park of Scarlets, well, of course, sorry, not Park of Scarlets, Straddy Park is over, is he?
Too easy, man. Way too easy.
I'll just finish this story now. A very similar situation, right? We had a game on Valentine's night, and they started doing like on TV a kiss cam, right?
Oh no.
And they go into him now, and he's stood on the terrace, and he's got this little bird with him, right? And he's got an old guy as well, right? But he's got like this middle-aged girl with him that he's knocking off. And he gives her a big sloppy kiss live on TV, right? And after the game, they go into the electric club. His wife is set off from the Gwendraeth, come down all the way to Straddy, bursts into the electric club, pint over him, glass over him, and that wasn't the end of it. The next game we see him, he got a shiner out by her, boy. Hit him with a saucepan. The saucepan over the head, caught him in the eye.
Saucepan black, all that.
Massive black eye on the terrace there. Nobody, I think we stopped seeing him. I don't see him much anymore. I don't know what happened. Better check the pack.
He's still got the ball and chain on his legs. Is he from back in?
What happened to Sinbad in Brookside? Yeah. Let's check the pack. So anyway, right.
42-15, get a scoreboard done, man.
43, is it?
43-15, yeah. But, let's go with that way again, innit?
Not looking good for the Scarlets, boys. But we're enjoying. To be honest, as bad as it is, right? It's not as bad as what it was last week. And it is enjoyable because the company's good, boys, and the banter's good. 6 tries. It's disappointing, but at the same time, we're actually still great at the moment. This is still grateful that. Given the teams out, what Leinster? Oh yeah, and he's through here. Look at this.
No, Thomas Sheehan as well. I booked the wrong flight. He wrote, I booked the wrong flight back for the final. Had to be in Dublin Airport for 6 a.m. Sunday for the 8 a.m. flight. I was getting a kebab at 2 a.m. with Rupert Moon.
But these stories, this is what I want to share. I mean, at times I guess we start reminiscing about. Not so much past glories, just these stories that you pick up along the way through supporting and travelling with your team. I remember being it was the 2006 season again, and we played Ulster away. And it was absolute monsoon weather, right? But we played Dwayne Peel and Regan King were sublime we played brilliant rugby in wet weather in a storm and ran them off the park. We had a bonus point away victory. But the night before the game,
I remember.
We were in like Mustard Robinson's bar, yeah, in Ulster, in Belfast, right? And another place where cracking pint of Guinness in there, right? In fact, I think after years of wanting to try Guinness, I think that was where I tried my first pint of Guinness was in 2006 in Robinson's in Belfast, right?
You can't blow. What's happened here now?
But there was a guy. I think he was from like Velivol or Darwin or something like that, right? And he'd gone over with his mates, and the game was Saturday afternoon, and we'd all arrived there Friday night, right? And the guy I've never seen anybody so drunk, right? He was in one heck of a state, okay? And he goes to cross the road in Belfast, and he looks the wrong way, right? Because he thinks he's abroad. He thinks because he's flown, right? And we've gone to another country, he thinks he's abroad, right? And he thinks the car's come from the other way. So he looked the wrong way, you know, up to here, and he gets run over by a bus. No word of a lie, he gets run over by a bus, and news travels amongst the Scarlets fans like wildfire. Oh, no, so-and-so, so-and-so. And I can't remember his name, I just know his face. It's blonde-haired boy, chunky lad, quite a big boy. And he doesn't just get hit by the bus totally just mauls him and goes over him. You know, like you go over a speed bump, boom, 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 like that, right?
No.
That's how this like double-decker bus goes over him, right? He's a goner. And he gets stretchered off into the ambulance. And his friends then, when they're drinking with us later, they tell, oh mate, he got run over by a bus, he's so drunk, he got run over by a bus. They've sent him off to hospital, we don't even know where he is. But they're still there drinking with us, right? They haven't gone with their mate, right? So we're on the terrace in Belfast the next day, you know, and this story has gone round that, oh, there was one of the boys got run over by a bus, right? No word of a lie. Halfway through the first half, that guy appears on the terrace. Bandages all around him with blood, but the bandages are all rolling off him. They've come undone, right? So he's like a mummy, and he's covered in blood, and he's got a can of Stella, and he's on the terrace singing Hospital Mark with us. He's run over by a bus. He couldn't say nothing, but we were just...
It's for the club, man.
Well, for the club, man. And we were just flabbergasted. And anyone else who was on that terrace that day, if you remember that scenario, I mean, because unless you were there, you'd say, no, you're lying. That's impossible, right? In that he just got out of us, signed himself out, and carried on drinking, and got to the game himself somehow. Right? In half-dressed bandages. It didn't look like they'd come undone. It looked like they tried dressing him, and he said, no, I'm alright. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, but just let us get a safety pin in it. Nah, you gotta make the game. You know what I mean? But
class.
It was class. I know that's someone we need to get on for an interview. You know what I mean? But let me know in a comments anybody else that was in that Belfast game on that terrace. I mean, it was a great game, great atmosphere. We didn't have and that's the thing about Scarlet fans. We didn't take like Munster. They outnumber the home fans sometimes. They snap up.
Yeah, they do.
They've got hordes. We're not like that. We haven't got loads of fans to compete with like Munster away fans. But what we do is we only need about 1,000, and we've got so many songs and we're so loud that it becomes like a home game. You know what I mean?
Yes,
we punch way above our weight, man for man, pound for pound. We do. Again, there's famous of Rob Coslet when he's in that end behind in the stoop when we were beating Harlequins in the European Cup. We've only got half of one end of the ground that's a pocket of Scarlet fans, but that's all you can hear. The Reading game, the games in Reading against London Irish. Every single one of them. I mean, I remember one, it was the first game in Reading on a Friday night. We were kicking off the Heineken Cup that season. And it was when, what's the fullback from Stradi? Blonde hair, going bald with Kieran Thomas, was it?
Kieran Thomas, he's the Buddy Port coach now.
Is he? Ah, right.
Buddy Port Backs coach.
For the men or the women?
The men, yeah.
For the men.
Mate, he's an animal. All he does is drink. He drinks during the game.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, he's best mates with Gar Plum and Curly Al, right? They were, I think they came through school together. So Llangennych and Stradi, right?
That's right, yeah.
But I remember him at fullback, and there was things he was doing. He was linking up with Regan King, and he looked the part, and then he looked world class, right? And he was a half decent player. You know what I mean? It's just the culture around Stradi at that time was allowed to drift. In that it wasn't, once people like Madden and Diogenes and Easterby and people like that retired, look at this is poor, we're going back, we're giving up now. It looks like they're probably going to be in again, yeah.
Yep.
To be honest,
That's scoreboard ready.
Leinster probably will be quite hard on themselves here. They've not been, when they've cut us open, they've been a bit stuttery in trying to put us away.
Yeah, they beat us up in front. Up front, they beat us.
Yeah, yeah. And
Here we go. Look at this. Look.
Here now. Let's have a look.
Oh,
He's knocked it back. Oh, this is like
it's a hooker.
Shocking. I know, and it's shocking because it's like he hasn't even taken it cleanly, and he's still had all the time in the world to be able to take that, to deal with that situation. If you're not going to take the ball, make sure your man doesn't take it either. And the man didn't take it, but you still allowed him to get back, catch the ball, and then run forward. And it's similar was happening.
You had time to go make a cup as well, didn't you?
Yeah, and the thing is, right, you got to look at the stats. Your eyes don't lie to you, okay? It's 43 points, well, no more than 43 now, isn't it? So, home tries.
It's about to be 50.
Seven tries, right? And this is us making a fist of it. That's the worrying thing. This is us not being as bad as what we were last week, right?
Yeah, it's awful, to be honest with you.
Questions going to be asked now, right? At what point do you question the recruitment from Daniel, what's his name? For recruitment at the club, in charge of the purse strings. Can't remember his name now. But you've got to question his performance and that of the defence coach, the forwards coach. At what point do you get, after 3 games now, even against Edinburgh, you know, you got Leicester, even when we won, we still leaked like 24 points, right?
Yeah, we did.
Edinburgh, we leaked another, was it 30 points, is it? 29 points? 29 points. Lions, they still scored, they scored quite easily against us, right? And then last week was shocking again. It's as Jack Smith's agreeing there now, it's every week. I remember when Byron Hayward and Pivac and Steve were there, one of the mantras they had was, if you can, and Sean Edwards with Wales mentioned the same, if you can keep the opposition down to within about 10 to 14 points average, you're always going to be in with a chance to win games every week.
Yeah, exactly.
If your defence is shipping 20 plus points every week, right, then you've got no hope of winning anything. And this is where then, you know, the likes of myself and you and Paul Price react angrily to the cheerleaders online, where they're like, oh, get behind the boys, and like, it's not about that. You can't get behind regular defence never being put right. You can't. My integrity will not allow me to get behind that, because I'll be wrong in my own conscience to get behind something that I know is fundamentally flawed. You know. I gotta stop there a minute, because I'm gonna go into a rant otherwise, and I'm like, and I don't want it to turn into a personal debate, splintering the fans, right? But the fans are already splintered a little bit, and this is what we're gonna highlight a little bit in this channel. And I'm not saying the fans are to blame, but there's sometimes, like after last week, right? Me and you had a week now to contemplate. We could have gone live midweek, and we could have gone in on the team, or we could have supported the team, or we could have done whatever, but we chose not to say anything. Well, I chose not to say anything. I didn't really say too much online. I didn't go live. I wanted to, but I resisted it. Hopefully we can see it through now. When do we have the yellow card? I didn't notice that. We had another yellow card.
Tony McNichol was.
Right. Hopefully we'll get away with just the 50 points, yeah.
No, I can't see it.
Look.
They're going to want this, Leinster.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Don't look at Leinster. Look at what alignment is in anyway.
Oh. Look how frantic they are, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, right? Ignore what Leinster are doing when they've got the ball. Watch our alignment, right? It's worrying. It's scary. These are international players and British Lions involved.
And in 2 games, you've shipped nearly a ton.
Right? That
Not good enough.
You know what, right? You know, if this was Zebra or Dragons, they'd be calling for the coach's head. Now, I'm not saying a call for Dwayne Peen's head because he's been given nowhere near enough time.
I really want him to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's way too early because what we are seeing is that he has not got the team around him. John Daniels. It's John Daniels. This guy needs to be accountable. That's why I'm not saying he's got to go or whatever. He needs to be accountable for what he's created here. This squad, I mean, if you saw John Barkley there, must be cringing. We need him. We need him involved. Bring him back, right? And he probably won't. Or why would he? Why would he uproot his family again to come back down here when his children now are settled? His children were well speaking and everything. Why didn't we offer him a coaching contract? It was crazy. There's so much quality we allow to pass through our fingers, and there's such quality out there that we could use and attract, and we choose. It's not even like it used to be, like people who say is jobs for the boys. It's not even that, because at least with that, you can get behind them because they're Scarlets, right? This is. There's a worrying thing that's been allowed to fester within our club, and it permeates through the coaching, the staff, and an element of the fans. I've sensed it when I've gone there for meetings. I've sensed that there's an element within the club that's not right, and it's not been right for about the last 3 or 4 years, in that there are people, no matter how bad we are, and it's worrying from my point of view, because we can go into free fall here and there's nobody in a position to be able to stand up to the culture that's running the show to make heads roll. The only person who can do it maybe is Simon Mudarak, and I like some of the things he's said, I like some of the things he's done, right? But he needs to go, he's got a job to do on that. I think Nigel Short got distracted with what was going on with Wales and the negotiations regarding funding and things like that. The eye has been taken off the ball within Parker Scarlets and the corridors there, and there are some really horrific decisions going on and they're not being addressed. It seems like it's fine. And actually you're wrong for questioning it. And that's worrying to me. That is worrying to me. Now, I'm holding back, to be honest, no matter how bad it gets, I don't think it is the answer to go personally attacking people online. What is that going to gain? We need to be together, but we need to be honest and upfront with each other. It's like when a certain section of the organisation is not performing, they need to be answerable to that. They need to be accountable, and there's no accountability there right now in anybody's position. Nobody is asking Richard Kelly, Guy Flanagan, Ben Franks. How long? We've got a class front row, right? Now Ben Franks, like I said earlier, he should be banging on that door to John Daniels, gripping him by the neck, pinning him up against the wall. Get me locks now. That's what he should be saying. He should be saying, because his scrum, he's supposed to be the scrum coach. How can he coach the scrum when we haven't got a set of locks? And
his job must be a nightmare.
The buck stops with the board, but who have the board put in charge of recruitment? Right? Because they've got a budget, but they're spending it on luxury players that we don't need. The icing on the cake, and the sponge is non-existent. The icing's crumbling. We've got the icing on the cake, and the sponge has been pinched. It's gone long ago. Anyway, I'm going off for one now. You know, it is what it is, the game was. Well done, Leinster. Thank you for all Leinster
know,
fans who have come in.
John Barkley's sitting in the studio. He looks like
Yeah.
he's about to cry.
Well,
He knows,
it's
this club
embarrassing
losing
for
to
him
him. Like,
because, well, this is it, right? You know, when you've played for a club, right? When you've played for a club and you've retired, and then you get asked to commentate on a game involving that club because you represent that club to them. He's been brought in there because he represents Lecce, right?
yeah, Scarlets, yeah.
So he is inevitably feeling embarrassed there. And if Simon Mudarak isn't on the phone this evening to someone like Barkley, Easterby, someone like that, we need someone in there to coach these forwards, right? And we need a better, I don't know who the team manager is right now, because it's changed a number of times over the years.
It's a woman.
No, but it was a woman. I'm not seeing her. She's not about anymore. I haven't seen her at all. And I'll be honest with you, I've had to shut my mouth because if I was to say what I think, people would take it the wrong way. Okay?
No, it is, yeah. I only know because Amber's old man had to meet up the day before yesterday.
Right.
The Scarlets basically gave, the van they used to go around picking up with kit and stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
They basically lent it to Amber's old man, even though he's got a car. I don't know why. They just said we need you to take his van up to pick him up from his surgery in London.
Right.
And he had to meet with her to get the keys.
I got it. Now, I've seen team managers come and go, and I've seen what they're capable of, and it is an important role. I just think she hasn't got the balance right. She can't be a figure that we need within our team structure, and I think I'm not blaming her, but because of her personality, that is what's allowing this pervasive attitude at the core of our club, within the team, within the squad. They're on holiday. And that's all they seem to get from her is Maladud, right?
Yes, yeah.
It's not good enough. That's not what the team manager is. They are somebody to be answered to, not somebody to have a coach with when things aren't going well. And I don't mean that physically, I mean that psychologically, right? I get she's trying to protect the players, but sometimes they need to be exposed to it for a wake-up call.
A funny commentary from Sebastian Grammer.
Right.
He said, if you barge in, I'm assuming he means on Simon Mudarak, you'll probably get new locks for the door, not the team.
Well, this is it, yeah, exactly. Well, it said, right, for John Daniels, when the question came, and these questions were going through a text message system first before they were read out, and then they went to Dwayne Peel for the Crease 16 meeting, and someone asked the question about recruitment to Dwayne Peel, and Dwayne Peel went to pass it over to John Daniels at the back of the room. And the doors at the back of the room were doing the cowboy thing. He'd seen the question was coming,
swinging doors,
and he went. Right?
Saloon doors, like. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you are a professional person. You're an whatever his title is, right? Which I'm not familiar with what the title is that he holds, but he's in charge there. He's in a meeting with shareholders, right? 316 are shareholders of the club. Okay, they've got a seat on the board. You're in a meeting and people are asking questions. You're running away. What are you scared of? What was he scared of to answer? I'd love to get, I'd love to get someone from the club. I'm not slagging them off for slagging them off sake. I want to support the club, and I want to support everybody who's involved in the club. But enough is enough now. There's too much going on, and it's going wrong drastically. And people in charge he either needs to change what he's doing, because what he's doing is not working. Or if he's adamant that he's not going to change, because I personally put a question to John Daniels regarding our recruitment and questioning how viable it is, because we didn't have money, we were looking for these unearthed gems, right, in Tagburn, people like that, right? And that's all it is we're going out and we're asking, do you know of anybody good? And they're saying to us, you could try him. Okay, we'll take a punt, right? And we're taking a punt on someone like Tagburn, who, you know, he'd been released. Okay, it worked for him, but that's not through the club. That was through Tagburn's bloody mindedness that he wanted to take that chance, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's not the same player now he's gone to Munster because he's not playing with that fire, right? And their style doesn't suit him either. He suited our style. But I questioned, because it's working in that you're unearthing these gems, but when you stand back, it's not getting us anywhere because we as a club are not progressing, because every time we unearth one of these gems, they go. And they're not here for a season. They make it and they're like, right, we've got a star player that we've unearthed. Let's enjoy his career in a Scarlet shirt. We don't get to do that. They're off. They're gone. And it's because we're highlighting players that this other thing about time servers, even if they're time servers of Welsh, right? It's not worth it. It's not value for money. And Simon Mudarak has come out and said this. It's not value for money to have internationals because we don't see them. Yeah, Wales are funding us to house them. We're an incubator. That's all we are. We're a cocoon. Right? And this cocoon has been come in and smashed now by this new league that's competitive all of a sudden. In that you can't have these cocoons anymore just going through motions. And that's what we are, is a cocoon for international and British Lions players, ready for when they go to play with Wales or wherever.
I'm actually looking forward to the games we have during international window, mine, because to give some of our youngsters and, you know, fringe players a try, because they're not getting a look in right now, because
I'll say it in a harsh way.
You know, these Lions come back, right? Yeah. Yes, okay, they're British Lions. They've just come back in and walked into the team. They haven't done nothing to get back into that team. Let's be honest with you, the four of them pretty much out in South Africa on the Lions tour were pretty much piss poor anyway. What have they done to warrant a start in the team? When all the youth and all the youngsters and all this have been busting a gut, you know, pre-season and early part of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just say, because so far I've been getting used to the channel, setting it up, getting into the swing of things, and we're both feeling a lot more comfortable now to say what we feel.
That's right. I've always been the same. Yeah.
I'll give you my verdict on what you've just said there. I'm quite looking forward to the autumn internationals, but for another reason. You said you're
Wales get smashed probably.
No, it's not that.
No.
You know, I like I said before, there's indifference with me for Wales. I don't even care one way or the other whether they win or lose, right? But and just to wind up, if anyone, those ones that are in the chat, yeah, Liverpool did win today and United did lose. A surprise Thomas Sheehan's in the chat. But I'm not going to go on about football.
Have a good night, pal.
But I was going to say, I'm looking forward to the autumn internationals. So we see the back of these imposters, these charlatans that are pretending to be internationals and British Lions. Get them out of our squad. It'd be a nice break to see the back of them for a while. Come back when you learn how to play the game. Because you're not playing, you can't put into a line out, you can't tackle, you can't kick properly, you can't, all these players, you've got no pace, you're missing tackles everywhere. I'd be glad to see the back of you, because like you said earlier, the team we took up to Leinster played far better rugby, and you could get behind it, you know?
Yeah, I've been listening. Sebastian, have a good night, buddy.
Hey, take care, Sebastian. Nice to have you in, mate. It's always nice to have a... Are you a new name, or are you somebody who's been in here before under a different name? I don't know, but it's lovely. Please pop in again. We will be streaming. Obviously, we're going to be streaming the international games as well. I will be setting up another channel or two to separate the football from... Because I was doing a bit of football before, and motorcycles and stuff. But I will be, obviously this is just Scarlets and general rugby is going to be on this channel. So tune in again. We're committed to doing a lot more rugby. There is a game straight after this. Cardiff are playing Sharks. I don't know what you want to do, Chris. Have you got to go?
I don't know, yeah. No, really, no. Paul Price, right? He's hit the nail right on the head here for me, mate. He said, trouble is, a lot of the fans, I mean groupies, won't dare go near the politics or criticism of players, so things aren't going to change. Paul, I'm going to buy you a pint, mate. That's spot on.
This is the problem, and he said that last week with the Munster game. This is what we were discussing. When we were seeing what last week, as last week unfolded in front of our very Turk one eye, right? This is the subject we were bringing up, is that, yes, there's this culture, and it's a bad culture at the club. Sorry, the culture club, I know, but no, there is a bad culture at this club, right? You know, sorry to go all Boy George, you know, but I'm like a chameleon.
Well, karma one, like.
Yeah. No. Do you really want to hurt me, boys? Oh, come on, listen to some of the next ones. Right, but there is this culture at the club that is, it's rotten to the core, and we need Simon Mudarak first and foremostly to recognise it and plan a course of action to redeem it, to arrest the rot. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's not going to happen overnight. But also he needs to look at who's in power there, and are they the problem? And even if they are the problem, can they be worked with to turn them around and give them a reprimand and give them a warning and tell them this is what's expected of you from now on? I want to see changes, right? I worry, is he a hands-off person that has trusted a group of people to run the show there, and things have just been allowed to go to chaos? Because it strikes me as that some people there have got a lot of power that are not very good at their jobs, and no matter how bad they do, nothing gets said of them. And you know,
yeah.
Am I wrong here? I mean, you know, we've had three
I got the exact same feeling.
Horrible defeats here, and it's not like, oh, you know, we've had a lot of injuries or something. Yeah, we've had the odd injuries, but there's more than that. We've got a full British Lion and international front row out, right? You know, we've got British Lion in the centre there, captain. Woeful again.
Not doing a damn thing, yeah, exactly.
Not. There were glimpses of, right, okay, he started playing well, and we gave him the credit for that early in the game, didn't we? You know, John Fox. You need to strip him of the captaincy. That was a terrible decision to make John Fox captain in the condition that he's in his career, where he's struggling really for form. To even be a shadow of the player he was, that was a poor call to make him captain.
Agreed.
I don't mind changing it, but you pick it for somebody who's going to be nailed on. You know? I'd go on Cowdo, because he's got the bite. He's with the ref as well. Plus, it'll make him grow up a little bit as well and mature.
Yeah, probably.
He's in that stage of his career, isn't he, where he could go to another level. I think he's got another level in him. He's never going to be the most silky, skillful, best passing scrum half in the world, or the best kicking. But he gives you so much more, and he's the complete contrast of someone like what was the Munster scrum half, the Lion? His name's escaped me.
The what? Sorry, the Leinster scrum.
Munster scrum half for the Lions.
Conor Murray.
Conor Murray, right? He's the total opposite. Oh yeah, they're going through. Look at this tackling. They're showing the Munster game here now. Look at this. There was a hooker made a break, body swerved and sidestepped about 5 of our defenders. Then Grubber kicked ahead and was still making ground, was still pulling away. Now, you look at this Munster game. 29-13 the Munster here. This flanker bursting through John Davis. John Davis shadowing here, trotting back, and gets outpaced by the flanker again and a centre. It was shocking. He was going through the motions, John Davis was. We're watching this again here now. They're punishing us.
Interesting comment in the chat here, mate, from user unknown, saying there was a moment where Ken was talking to the ref and Foxy was standing behind him saying nothing. Did you notice? I didn't notice it. Jack said yes, because Ken became captain during the game. That is interesting.
This is it. I think it was a wrong decision. I don't think Ken has ever done anything wrong as a captain, right? But I do.
And turned away from our try celebration. Who turned away? Foxy.
Right. There's something not right there at this club, boys. I'm telling you no.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree.
And a lot of it does stem around Foxy because of his. You can tell from his body language, from the way he is. He's just never been right since his injury for Wales, and he's been out for a long time then after it, right? He's never come back. And I thought, oh, maybe Scott Williams coming back might rekindle that sort of feeling he had
like an old flame, innit?
when he was in 2017 when we won the league and things like this, like, you know. But no, there's something not right there, boys, and it worries me. It's not me going in on things just to make. Why would I do it? It's not like I'm.
But next week, you know, I do think Treviso will come and beat us next week, to be honest. But everyone in the town now will be like, oh, Treviso, we're going to win now, and easy. No, all the non-diehards, all the people who don't really give a shit, they're all going to be giving it huge throughout the week now. Oh, forget about Leinster now, move on. Treviso next week. They almost beat Ospreys. Treviso won that Rainbow Cup.
Right.
They're no mugs.
There's a crucial point here. There's a couple of points I want to make, right? What you just said there now. We are on make or break already for our season, okay? Because
I think our season's long gone.
If we lose any more distance between our shield, in our Welsh shield that we're in, right, our mini table, okay, there is no way we're getting into Europe next season, and the club is screwed then, right? If we make anything, it won't be off off performance on the field or winning games and stuff like that. The only thing that's going to save this club, right, is because it's coming in 2 years' time. The WIU are going to shrink the teams down again. We're going to go down to 2 or 3 teams. You can see it. Because they haven't got the funding. They haven't got the funding to fund 3 top teams in Europe to compete. And so they've got a choice to make. They either fund 3 that are underfunded and are getting beaten easily all the time, or they strip it down and just have 2 that they can fund to a level where they can compete. This is what they were talking about in the Pre-16 meeting. And we are apparently, the structure, this is where the stadium and all the other things in the background are saving us. But it's detrimental to us because we're not there then, we haven't had to earn it. So we're weak. You know what I mean? It's artificial. And I say that to any Ospreys fans that, you know, and it is going to come down to Dragons or Ospreys, by the looks of it. They're going to go east and west, right? And they're not going to put the team in Liberty Stadium to rent when there's a team can play on Park Scarlets for nothing. Right? They pay no rent. So you're not going to have a team based at the Liberty. If you're having 2 teams, you're going to have one in Cardiff and you're going to have one in West Wales, right? And it's going to have to be at a stadium where they're not going to pay to rent a stadium off a football club when there's a rugby stadium there for free. Okay?
Yeah.
So, but that will mean that if they go down to 2, there's going to be a merger of the Ospreys and the Scarlets at some level.
Could you support that?
Providing they play at Park Scarlets, call the Scarlets, put Cletchley back in the name, playing Scarlet at Park Scarlets. Alright, I'll let them have Alan Wynne-Jones and Topuric in our team. There you go. I'm offered them an olive branch, okay? I've gone 50-50 with them, right?
We'll help them out yet again, is it?
If it was to be some Dennis the Menace kit, right? And 1 game in Liberty, 1 game in Park Scarlets, you can go and just like just do it, just do one, right? Because it's just not on. Ealing train finders were watching Gower v Neath. I was interested, this is weird. Right, you have to explain that one a bit more. Why were Ealing train finders there watching? And 2,
do you mean a scout?
Right, okay. Strange. I noticed this, right? There's a channel on YouTube that keeps popping up now. It's called Cowshed, and it's a bunch of Neath fans, and they've actually done a couple of live streams. Not quite, nowhere near, I won't say not quite, nowhere near as good as what ours is, right? They just simply haven't got the technology, but they haven't had the bandwidth in Neath yet, have they? You know, so...
They've just used up the last of the coal in Neath.
They still got donkeys pulling stuff in Neath. But no, all jokes aside, right? It's nice to see another Welsh channel, and I'd love that at some point if they grow a bit and get themselves in gear. The only thing is I don't know if they do support are they like an Ospreys based sort of channel. I think they're more just Neath, which is semi-pro. But what was interesting was they were talking about games they were excited for against, and there was these village names they were talking about. I never heard of in Wales before. They were like tiny, and that's what makes it. Oh, a Scout Gower College versus Neath. This is it, right? Gower College, because I was like Gower. I didn't know there was a Gower team. You know, Mumbles and teams like that. I know Gorsainan, Lachra. I know those teams. Wanaloedd and Bonamine and teams like that. But yeah, strange. I want to go Neath College. Gower College versus Neath College, Paul, is it? Maybe. It wouldn't be Neath, really. But I mean, I forgot where we were going with this now. But it's yeah, probably said WU 9 million spent on a hotel. Young Welsh players scouted over the border. Yeah, well, this I get what you're on about now. Yeah. This is a big problem in Wales. We don't have a good pathway. The pathway worries me, and I can see it permeating within the fans. And this has always gone on a level, but it's never been at this level before, where there seems to be a real, if your face don't fit, if you haven't been chosen because your dad knows the coach and stuff like that, there's a lot of talent being left that's not getting picked up. Okay? I mean, Lee Harpenny and Sanjay were two prime examples. They were looked upon at the Ospreys not good enough. Lee Harpenny and Liam Williams, two British Lions, world-class players, both came from the same area, Gorsainan and Wanaloedd, right? And were known about in the Ospreys Academy and rejected, you know?
Mad, isn't it?
And Lee Harpenny goes on to be picked up by Cardiff, Liam, Sanjay picked up by Llanelli, right? And then the Scarlets. Which, and don't get me wrong, this happens to us as well. I mean, our recruitment, our decision making on a lot of players. I mean, how many players have we lost from our academy to go on to like Dragons and Cardiff and the Ospreys, right? That we haven't.
Look at Josh Adams, for example.
Josh Adams. Someone told me there's another winger at Cardiff, and I can't remember who it is, but there's Josh Lewis at the Dragons, promising players that they would have developed more if they were given more of a chance. And when you look at the state of our outside half situation, and you look at the players that we've allowed to leave, you know, it's not on. It's poor management. The academy is functioning, but the people picking from the academy and the recruitment stage and deciding who gets contracts, which I'm led to believe is John Daniels, he needs to give his head a wobble. He does. He really needs to. Someone needs to grip him by the talons and wobble it for him, right? And Simon Murdoch is the only man that can do that. Okay, he is the one above. You know, there's nothing wrong personally for myself against John Daniels, but he's had too much time where things are going bad. And they're under his watch, and he's responsible for these things, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people getting paid. They're stealing a living. They're not answerable to anything. So it is what it is. Another well, Leinster 50, Scarlets 15. You think we can get behind the boys for that next week? Right? It's not good enough. And the thing is, it's more than just the players on the park. it's the setup and the running of the club. These situations are being played out and they're being allowed to happen without any consequence for.
Jack, have a good night, pal.
Take care, Jack. No worries. Yeah.
No, but I was just looking at that scoreboard and it's just painful, like 50-15. It's a battering,
it is.
isn't it?
And you know what, right? We didn't play. I feel quite sort of like, oh, that wasn't too bad. As bad as what I thought it was going to be. No, after watching last week. It is what it is. Who knows, right? I mean, you know, remember the start of the P-back era, okay? We lost the first 3 games. I think they were home games as well, right? And it was Munster again, done a job with us, but they were close games. And people wanted P-back out, okay? This isn't about Peel. I was worried. I couldn't stomach listening to his interview, not because of what he was saying. I just didn't want to listen to it because I was like, look, no matter what he says, there's nothing he can change, and he can't be held to blame anyway. So I didn't even want to hear the interview because when he gave an interview last week, right? One thing though, I had the sound off and I could see his expression. And his expression to me struck me of somebody that wasn't angry, was more
disappointed.
Not even disappointed. He looked like a man who had suddenly realised he was in a situation where there's nothing he can do. That's what he struck me as. He looked worried, he looked sad, and he looked upset.
Yeah, he did look upset.
And not because of the result. I think it's because he realises there's things at play within that club that he can't change.
And do you know what else to me in a bit? Everyone's like, oh, Rob Evans, the Wales Online. He looked, you know, at the whole back the tears. I watched that interview. To me, he looked like he couldn't wait to get away from there. He didn't look upset or anything to me.
And he's on Instagram this week, messing about with some drunk in the street. He was in bed.
He just threw out answers.
He had a live stream with some drunk lads in the street having a laugh at them. They didn't do nothing wrong, but it's not a good look. You know, you've got to have some sort of context involved that when the Scarlets have lost a game like this now, don't be all like that on social media. It doesn't go down well. Because it gives because you could be really hurting and you could be really working hard in training trying to put things right. But when you're going on messing about on social media, it doesn't give that impression. Now, I don't mind either way, to be honest. I don't care, right? Do what you want, right? But I'm just thinking, if it was me, I'd just switch the phone off. Switch the phone off this week. You don't really want to be putting yourself there to be shot at, do you? You know, I don't go around shooting nasty messages to players, but I've started this channel and we will discuss players' performances. That's fair game. They are being paid to do a job. They're paid to do a job. And just like I'm paid to do a job in my work, I'll have assessments and where you have you know, you sit down with your boss and they'll go through a questionnaire with you of how you're doing. And how you think you're doing, and he'll tell you straight then, well, this is how I really think you're doing, so you're way off. You know what I mean? Because they need to they're telling us a questionnaire after the game. What do you think your stats look like? The scrum, the whole scrum. Give your idea of how that scrum went and what went wrong. You know what I mean?
First 60, absolutely tragic.
It was.
To be honest, once we made a few changes, we seemed to hold our own. But yeah, there again, they made changes as well. So there's no real reflection there, is there? So
I had a debate with one of my friends in the WhatsApp group where I was watching the Dragons game and their scrum was solid, right? And their defence was solid. And I've said the same thing 2 weeks running. When the Dragons played Leinster, they looked good. They looked solid. And I'm worried about that because they look much better than what we do, right? And we played the same teams now, right? I was met with a comment from one of the boys, and he was saying, yeah, but they defended all game. They've defended for 80 minutes. And again, and they've defended a lot better than what we have. And their scrum is full of nobodies up front in the type 5. Elliot D, right? Elliot D, Brown the prop wasn't playing. They're all right. They're just average players. But Dean Ryan's got them playing as a unit, right? And they're hard. They're big boys. They scrummage well, okay? And I said, like, you know, that scrum of the Dragons is looking a lot better than ours at the moment. Ours is looking absolutely poor. And it goes back to, it's not the front rows though, it is the locks. They haven't got locks behind them. And, you know, Ken, is he still on the board? Because if so, Ken needs to be booting that boardroom door open on Monday morning when he gets back. Right? And pulling Ben Franks off John Daniels, releasing his grip from his neck, and Ken needs to grip John Daniels by the neck and put him up against the wall. Get us some locks. Get us some locks. Right? That's what he's going to do. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. That's why if I was captain of the Scarlets, right, and I was on the board, and I've had these last 3 games, and I knew going into the season you haven't signed a lock, right? I mean, this Lloyd Ashley, it's just like.
He's a joke, isn't he? It's like the Ospreys are laughing at us, sending us that pile of shit.
He's not even semi-pro level.
Let's be honest.
He's not even semi-pro level. He is
mate,
not a professional rugby player.
15 minutes into the game, he was blowing on his ass. But like Thomas Sheehan has nailed it. One thing that winds me up is when people say you can't criticise them because you've never played pro yourself. I can't play the guitar, but I know shite music on the
I have been watching this game for 40 odd years, right?
You know what I mean?
And I have seen what it takes to become what good players do, what professional players do, and what terrible players do, okay? And what I'm seeing now is the same sort of things we saw from Gareth Bowen, Mike Gurkus, Gavin Cattle, right? What was the flanker from the Ospreys, and we made him captain?
James Bater. Do you know what, right? James Bater, I actually thought he was right at times. Be honest, right? But most of the time he was crap. No, but no, a couple of times I thought he'd done right for us. No, I mean, but
on an aside,
overall, I know you're saying, yeah.
Pop by the sailor. However, if the Blues can use the name Cardiff, why can't we use Llanelli Rugby or Llanelli Scarlets? My personal favourite was Llanelli Scarlets. I didn't see why we had to drop Llanelli. And to be honest with you, Popeye, do what I do, right? If there's Llanelli to you, call him Llanelli. A couple of times Chris has said to me tonight, he's corrected me when I said Llanelli and he said Scarlets. And no, yeah, look at the book, boys. Yeah, there's the book, right? There's a book, right? Okay? The Scarlets, from the time of Phil Bennett, from all the way through, right? Ivor Jenkins, all the greats, they've always been known since 1884 as the Scarlets. Who are the Scarlets? Llanelli, right? Like it or lump it. If you don't like it, then don't be at my club. I don't care, right? I want you involved. I want you. You've got scarlet fever. People caught scarlet fever by supporting Llanelli RFC. That's how they caught it, right? To be a Scarlet is to support Llanelli RFC. That is what we are watching, right? We stood alone. The fact that there's still a Llanelli RFC in semi-pro level is a sop to all the Valley teams that just want that fixture on their fixture list. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
It's not for Turks. We stood alone, right? Llanelli was always one of the main sides in West Wales that people flocked to watch. Swansea was another one, obviously, because people who in Pembrokeshire and Cardiganshire and the Armor Valley, they would be split, especially the Armor Valley, they'd be split between three, which was Llanelli, Swansea and Neath, right? Which is fine, I'm happy with that. I know what it is. It's always been that way. But don't try and tell me, and there is an element of it, this thing that's going on in the background of our club. It is like, it's gone too far away from the town. Yeah, you go around town, there's no promotion within the town. It doesn't feel like our town team anymore. they've been conned by this idea that Moffat had. And we didn't need it. We already had what they were trying to implement in all but name. Because I'm not stupid enough to think it's Llanelli and it's about the town. No, when I say Llanelli, what I mean is the rugby club and the name Llanelli stood for the Scarlets, and the Scarlets stood for West Wales. But I'll go further, because when I talk about people having scarlet fever, when this regionalism thing came in, it's like trying to fight with one hand tied behind your back. We had fans from West Wales, East Wales, England, we still have. But under this new regionalism, unicorn blooming cockamamie thing that they invented, suddenly we're not allowed to market ourselves to anybody past Lachlan Bridge. That's ridiculous. We're business. That's restrictment of trade. You can't not tell a business, anyone past Lachlan Bridge you're not allowed to market to. But get out of it. Get out of it. No chance. We've got fans in England that get ignored season in and season out. And they're far more ardent than some of our fans in the town, right? I know them by name, some of them, right? And some of them have moved from the town, but there's loads living in East Wales that have moved out to the town that still support. They don't get anything. They don't get any attention. No, people like Garen Evans, remember that kit they made to represent Pembrokeshire? And it was like blue and gold. And you're like, people in Pembrokeshire don't even understand what it is. Why
even in Pembrokeshire, they didn't buy the damn thing.
Right, exactly. What are they doing? We need to market ourselves, and I thought it was going to change a bit with regards Sean Fitzpatrick coming on board and talking about a global brand and things like that. We have got a brand that is just begging for someone who knows what they're doing to stimulate it. I mean, that's why I did the channel, because I'm like, if anyone in world rugby is gonna have a fan channel that succeeds, it's gonna be ours. I mean, say what you want about Munster and Leinster, right? Where's their fan channel? They haven't got one, right? And this isn't about me and you. This is about our fans getting involved. The reason this fan channel succeeds.
Chan flannel.
It's because of the fans. There's interest. There's debate. Win or lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Hammering or smashing it, right? People are passionate about. I'm passionate. You're passionate. Everybody we know who is a Scarlet fan. There is a marked difference when I go and see other teams. There's very little teams that I see that are as passionate as Scarlet fans. I think a lot of other fans, you see, they're there for the experience. They just, it's ritual and it's nice. I know Liverpool fans have been mocked for saying this, but there is a saying with Liverpool fans that they've marketed recently, and they say, this is Liverpool, this means more. And I think that motto, though, it is true, as Liverpool fans and players, there's a different feel around that club than other football teams. When Chelsea won the Champions League, right? When Chelsea won the Champions League, right? There was nowhere near, I know where you had COVID, but you didn't have 1 million people on the streets. Okay? Not even when Man United did. I'm not going on about Liverpool. I will get back to this. I'm going to drag this point into the Scarlets now. When Liverpool play at a pre-season tour game, they played. I was watching it on YouTube the other day. Go and watch it. Right, search for it. Liverpool played in Suncorp Stadium. I think it was 95,000 seater stadium. Right, they played in Australia. Okay, they played Melbourne something. It's a pre-season friendly. Melbourne have got like a couple of thousand fans. That's all they've got, right?
Yeah.
92,000 fans were Liverpool fans in this huge Suncorp Stadium, and they sung "You Never Walk Alone," and it's the greatest "You Never Walk Alone" you'll ever want to see, right? You can show me Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man United, Arsenal, all these teams that claim to be big, right, and are in their way big, right? But not one of them can achieve that. To go to the other side of the world, or no matter where they go to America, they go to Asia, they go to Australia, wherever they go to play a pre-season friendly, they sell it out. Not even Man United manage that. They don't manage it. They do have a big crowd, and they have got a massive global following. Where Man United are bigger is their revenue, right, and things like that. I'm bringing it back to the Scarlets, in that...
I was going to say, you better stop talking about Liverpool. Tom was saying he might give next week a miss if you keep mentioning Liverpool.
I know, he is laughing. And in fairness, it's not about Liverpool, it's about the structures involved of what they've got to market was already there, and you can't... There was a documentary about an American guy that was in charge of a baseball team or something like that, he was, right? And he visited Anfield, and he was trying to think of ways, how can I take this atmosphere and recreate it in America? And but by the end of the interview, he was saying, you can't recreate that, right? Because it's just a totally different culture, and the fans make it because of what the fans, it just happens, right? And we have got the same with this club. You can't reinvent it. You can't redress. This is, the Ospreys, as people are mentioning here now. You can't reinvent the culture that was at Neath in the cowshed for a packed out game.
Yeah.
That was something, like, it was impressive. It was in a small, crappy little ground, but there was emotion there, and you knew when you were underneath.
It was real.
You were in your safety was involved at times, unless you stood up for yourself. They would bully you in the terrace and everything. You would get started on, right? And you had to stick up for yourself. Same at Ponty, Sardis Road, right? Same Swansea, on that big bank in St Helens, right? Those big sell-out games between local derbies. On the pitch, they knew what it meant, right? And you can't recreate that. And that's what, going back to 2003, they've tried to. They thought they could just. It didn't matter. They thought these things could be just messed about with. They messed about with it so much. Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to get it back now in certain places. You'll never get it back in like Bridgend and Ponty, right? You'll never ever get...
There's no interest there, is there? There's no interest there.
I mean, Bridgend has always been a place where pro rugby has always failed. No matter how much money has been put into it, whether it was Leighton Samuel or Bridgend, and they started to get a good team and they started to get a few results, and they copied Bath's badge and stuff like that, right? Which I thought, come on, come up with your own crest. You know what I mean? I showed it. This is it. What?
I never thought of that before.
Yeah, do you remember? They had the disc.
I know that.
Because Bath even complained about it. It was plagiarism. Plagiarism, yeah? It was. They copied the logo. Now, I gotta be careful though, because some of our logos we've used. I mean, so I know our logo. I know what is your brain playing tricks on you. It's not the Arsenal Fan TV logo. It's Scarlet Fan TV, Fever TV.
Scarlet
right?
Fan TV or Slessie Finau TV.
Slessie Finau TV, Sospermark TV, but it's certainly not been. It's been influenced maybe by Arsenal Fan TV, our logo, but so I can't.
That was just as wonky, is it?
Yeah. Well, I did wonky, and you wouldn't do it.
For that reason alone, mate.
Exactly.
Hey, shout out to Paul Price as well. He's said in the chat a little while ago, this channel is a breath of fresh air. Pal, if you're enjoying it, get all your friends and family who are big Scarlets fans, bring them all here. Let's have a big chat.
Guys, what I do,
real fans.
I did do it last week. If I get time today or tomorrow, I'm going to clip a few highlights. I won't make it as long a highlights video as what I did for the last game, because even when I did the highlights, it was still 30 minutes long nearly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and clip a few highlights, put them onto the Instagram channel, which thank you for everybody who's followed us on Instagram. And if you haven't already, check us out on there. We're on Instagram. Nothing much on there at the moment, but the channel is there, and we're going to be using that rather than so much Twitter, because Twitter's just full of arguments, whereas we just want somewhere where people can see what we're doing and click on it, and it is what it is. And I think Instagram serves that purpose better. To echo Chris's thoughts there, if you haven't already, just pop I'm not fussed about likes or anything like that. Share things, word of mouth, tell people and share it with friends what you've been listening to, and thank you for your kind words there about us being a breath of fresh air, Because it does feel like, oh yeah, people are getting what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep it just like as normal as possible. We're just two Scarlet fans, that's all we are. You know what I mean? That through the wonderful technological advances of bandwidth in Machynnes and Pedavan, we're able to bring this to you.
Technological advances, class, mate.
I can't even say it. I still got one power muffin here left. Crumpet, sorry, not a muffin. Crumpet, I was getting them too muddled up. But yeah, well, I mean, obviously we've got Bennett on next week. Yeah, Pop by the Sailor saying, if we merge the filth, would you support the Lucha Reds, Dubbed Scarlets? Can you imagine trying to play? Can you imagine, right? No, if we did, just humour it for a minute now, right? We got Bristol away, but suddenly we're not the Scarlets anymore. We're the Lucha Reds, Dubbed Scarlets, right? Or whatever, right? And we are now having to put buses on where they're going to pick up along the way in Swansea to go to the bus, right? Can you imagine it? Can you imagine trying to start up Sosman Lach? Right?
And some Muppet jumps out with an Osprey shirt, like, off you go. Drop him off in Cardiff.
I know. It just doesn't.
No,
people
but
just don't understand the culture and the. And I say this for Ospreys fans as well. They're not going to merge with us. They dislike us just as much as we dislike them. From a point of view of rugby and rivalry, right? You know, nothing personal. I get on with so many. I enjoy having a conversation with opposition fans, especially our rivals, and I'm the same in football, rugby, everything. But you know, that's why I love fan channels of oppositions, and I'm sure this is why we get Ospreys fans coming in here and Leinster fans coming in here, because it is nice to hear what opposition fans are talking about, and that's how we all learn. Of like, oh yeah, actually I was wrong there. You know what I mean? Because they're seeing it from the other point of view. Your enemy will always spot your weaknesses before you do. You know, so it's always good to listen to what they're saying. And take on board what they're saying. Paul Price says, I honestly do believe it's heading to 2 pro teams clashing in Cardiff. It is. It's on the cards. They're sound-biting it out already in the Crease 16 meetings. They are gearing themselves up ready for it. This is what some of us were laughing. Funny enough, Chris, I was talking to your Browd earlier on today.
He's a Muppet now.
And he was asking about the channel, how was all going and everything. And,
he's taking the piss in the group chat, yes?
Yeah, but no, he's actually he's a closet fan. He's subscribed.
Yeah, he doesn't like to show it in front of his friends.
Exactly. He's playing
the bloke's a knob.
No, no, but he is, in fairness. He gets it, because I said, "Do you get it? Do you get what we're trying to do?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's good." He said, "Keep doing it. It's great." He said. I was like, "Oh, cool." Because some people who criticise it, they don't get it, and that's why they're laughing at it. You know what I mean? I don't mind being laughed at if people do get it, but they think it's a stupid idea still. No, that's up to them.
You can carry on.
People said the same to Don Robbie, Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, Mark Obridge. They were the first 2 to do it in football, and they were laughed at. Look at them now. Robbie is a multi-millionaire. Off the back of just doing Arsenal Fan TV, right? Bridge is probably up there with them.
Yeah, exactly. Look, a little side note here, Tom Sheehan saying wouldn't take us long to learn the Osprey songs. Can you imagine it? Ole, 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 Scarlets. No, it doesn't work. Get it.
I have got an address. Right, Paul, I got a rough idea who you might be. If it is the same Paul I'm thinking of, I'm not sure. But you say Man United not as big as Liverpool. Did I miss the start of this? No, you've missed the context of it. I was talking to him in a specific context. I'm not saying Man United. Really, in different elements, both clubs have got different parts that they are bigger than each other. When it comes to revenue and marketing, Man United are massive, right? When it comes to the fan base, Man United are up there. But when it comes to actual, like, Man United can't go to the other side of the world and fill a 95,000 seater stadium out. They can't. They never have.
It's Asia, they will.
No, they haven't. They've gone to Asia, even when they played Liverpool. Even they've gone to America, right? And even when they've played Liverpool, they've been empty seats everywhere, right? when Liverpool played a rubbish team in a pre-season friendly, the other side of the world, if it's America, Asia, or Australia, and Australia was the one because it's a 95,000 seater stadium, the other side of the world, right? And they sold it out, and it was full of mental Liverpool fans. Because there's a connection with Melbourne and Australia with Craig Johnson. And since him making it in the 80s, it spawned a lot of Australian Liverpool fans, basically. Because that's, very much like Egypt has got a lot of Liverpool fans now because of Mo Salah. You get that, don't you? You tend to get that with your star players. Which, anyway, I'm not going to talk about football anymore. I need to separate the football. If you do want to, I'm going to be starting up a new channel where I just do cover the football, because I do miss covering the football. And while this has been rebranded to Scarlet Fan TV, I have stopped doing any football content, but I do miss it. I miss being able to chat. Tom Machina's United did fill a 100,000 seater in the USA. No, they didn't. I was watching it. They didn't. You're lying. Because I was watching it. It was terrible. They did have a lot of fans there. I'm not saying they haven't got fans there. They've got loads of fans, and they are up there with Liverpool for global fan base. But most of United's fan base is more online Facebook clicks and Twitter likes, right? I'm just going to leave that there. Anyway, I don't want to fall out.
Hey, do you know what you were saying about fans in Australia because of a player, right? I wonder if there's a little pocket of Tonga where they're all scarlet mad because of Fiend now.
Well, this is where the club misses a trick. Bringing it back, thank you, Chris. We'll bring it back to rugby. And Tom, I'm only, I know me and you have always had banter, Tom, about the football, but we're both passionate Scarlet fans as well, right? And I enjoy having chats about the football. Two huge teams, agreed. And United are bigger than Liverpool in a lot of other areas. But anyway, we'll have that chat again. Going back to what Chris said about Fiend now. We've got these players, Hodges in America, Fiend now in Tonga, right? They should be, not like Liverpool have done. Sorry, I know I'm bringing it to Liverpool, but their module is a module that we should be looking at. We can take a lot of tactics from, because we've got, I know this is going to sound, people are going to laugh here now, right? But we have got that, there's a lot about the brand of Liverpool that on a much smaller scale, Llanelli Scarlets rugby has got going for it. And we don't capitalise on it at all. Naturally, we have got fans that have never visited Llanelli in Italy that support the Scarlets, right? The club does nothing to even acknowledge them, let alone offer them some sort of way to get other people involved where they are, to grow that over there, And maybe when we play a pre-season game, then once we can see that there's a fan base growing over there of maybe, say, over 100 people, okay? That in a pre-season game we'll take fans as well. That whenever we go to a game away, Llanelli fans that are living in that area will try, if it's close enough, they'll travel to it, right?
Yep.
That's how you grow it, but we just do nothing. You know what I mean? We don't look to grow our brand at all, and it is shrinking. It is, we're missing the bus, we're missing the opportunities that we've got. We've gone through 2003 and regions and stuff like this. We've gone through all that, but at the end of the day, right? It's time to stop a mile heed now and just being thankful we're here. It's time for a line. It's time to move forward, right? And I question everybody at this club. I'm questioning their mentality. I'm questioning what the end game is. What's the goal here? Because they've given sound bites of, we want to try and get a squad that's like Leinster's, where we've got international quality too deep in every position. Which is a nice thing to say, but at no point is there a blueprint on how to get there from where we are. There isn't. There's nothing. What do you think, Chris?
That's spot on. I just all I think about now, you're talking about, you know, not doing anything to show appreciation or anything to these fans. They did sort of try to do something once a couple of years ago when they did that. It was a Twitter and Facebook thing, hashtag Scarlets on tour, I think it was,
Yeah.
where they were asking people, are you going on your holidays this summer? Take a Scarlet shirt with you, pop
That's
it
it.
on,
Yes.
take a picture and tag us. That was just people going on holiday to Benidorm and stuff. It wasn't, you know.
Do you remember there was a thread on Scarlet Fever, the forum, where there was a pre-season, it was nothing to do with games, it was holidays. People were away on their holidays, there was no rugby. And people were going to all these far-flung places. And I think Thomas Sheehan was one of them that posted up a couple of pictures when he was in America. But
yeah,
the one that got everybody was, you know, Die 93.
Right.
Yeah? He went to the Great Wall of China. And he got one of the, like, I think he was a monk or something. Yeah? You know, like bald head there. And he was on top of this little structure in the Great Wall of China, standing on top of this roof with a Scarlet's flag like that, right?
Yeah.
It was at the same time where, do you remember there was like conflict in Iraq or Syria? Syria. There was conflict in Iraq, and it was on the BBC News where these fighters were going around with their guns firing in the air, chanting, right? And in amongst all these people firing their guns in the air and chanting was this guy in a Scarlet's top, right?
And
it was the old David Steele's on the front, right? I think it was Cougar. No, Berda. It was Berda, right? It was the kit, right? But it was a banana yellow colour, which we'd never had a kit of that. But it was on the front.
Did we?
It was on the main BBC News, like, and Sky. It was on everything, right? And it was at the same time as well. They released a picture of Kate Middleton's. Kate Middleton was in the car, and her driver had a Scarlet top on. And Kate Middleton had just been in the news about something, and it was like there was a week of where Scarlet shirts were in the news all over the place for some weird reason. And in amongst that, you had Die 93 on the Great Wall of China giving to some like Buddhist monk or whatever. Giving a big Scarlet's flag, and of course it had a dragon on, so the guy was going to wave it. You know, he didn't have a clue what it really meant, but no, it was fantastic. But these, like you said, it was a fun time, you know, and fans lapped it up, you know.
Yeah. A couple of when I was in college, right, we had this. I was doing travel and tourism.
Yeah.
And we had to do like a exchange thing, right? So we had a boy come over and stay with us. Ben, his name is.
Yeah.
His name's not Ben. It's Ben something Polish. I don't know what it was, but we call him Ben. And he didn't have a clue about rugby, right? Absolutely not a clue.
Right.
And when he was over here, my mother was like, "Look, you know, he's your like mate for the week. You gotta look after him, boy." I said, because I was going to the game. I went to watch a Scarlets game. I can't remember what game it was. But the mother was like, "You're going to have to take him with you. He's not staying near me. I don't know the boy. Like, you know, you've been getting to know him and stuff." I was like, "Okay, whatever." I took him to a game. He loved it, right? He was jumping around and dancing and stuff. Didn't have a clue what was going on. Didn't know rugby, the rules, nothing, right?
Scarlet Fever for the club.
And I got on well with him. You know, I got to know him well. And then when he went home, then, you know, I thought, I'll give him a little present to go home with.
Right.
I gave him my Scarlet shirt at the time. It was the...
So where was he from, sorry?
Poland.
Poland, right, okay.
Yeah. It was a navy shirt, it was. I can't remember what season it was, but it wasn't the one with like the white and navy stripe down here. It was like a season or two after that. Right. And I gave him that shirt. And he still puts photos on Facebook in that shirt to this day. Now and again, he'd be wearing it and he'll take a selfie out and about somewhere in that shirt, like.
Yeah.
And I speak to him now and again, and he's like, "Oh, I've been watching rugby over here."
Yeah.
He's been going to watch.
I've seen it happen so many times. I mean, nothing you said there surprises me, and I'm sure it doesn't surprise anybody else who's watching or listening to this now or in the future. Okay. I've seen it with family members. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it with people who are not into rugby. They at the right game. If they come to the right game, And
Yeah,
they see
well, there's an atmosphere.
You know, you can go to other games and they win much more than us. They win much more trophies than us. They're more consistent than us. But there's something about this club, right?
It's a scarlet fever, mate, isn't
But
it?
what worries me is because there's something about this club, it allows the people in charge not to be accountable because the support is always there. And this is where then, when you are on top of that, when you get a band of supporters that it's not that they're one-eyed, it's that they're almost sycophantic, is that the right word? Where they will like suck up to anybody involved in the club just because they're a club. And that's a dangerous situation to have in a fan base. It's divisive. It causes these little cliques, and I don't like it because we've grown through being all together. Some of the greatest times I've spent supporting the Scarlets were times where when we would go away and you'd have all the Tanner bankers mixing with all the Pooch enders and all the town enders. Paul Price says good night boys, catch you soon. Take care Paul, thanks for tuning in pal.
Oh, have a good night buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot off anyway, pal. I'm gonna make some food. Wrap this up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. But thank you for all for joining in. There's been great sort of involvement from you guys. Without you guys chatting, it makes our job a lot easier to talk about the game and talk about random stuff and all the things that need putting right in the world, Scarlet related or not. But yeah, it's been. I would have watched a little bit of the Cardiff game here, but I can't get it to play. So the play.
Interesting comment from Popeye the Sailor here saying,
yeah,
who would you want as our director of rugby if we go down to 2? Jippo, which is Gareth Jenkins, or Scott Quinnell?
Right, I'm not just saying this. Right? Gareth has been a fantastic servant to this club, and I will forever hold him up. Because I think he was treated badly by Wales and their fans.
He was.
There was another reason why I went off Wales. It wasn't the fact, he had his flaws at that time. He was nowhere near in the right state to take that job at that time, right? But I wouldn't get Gareth involved in any capacity like that. I'd have him as an ambassador for the club, okay? Like Ian Rush is doing now for Liverpool. He goes and he greets people, you know what I mean? Same as Phil Bennett, I'd have him in that sort of role, right? Phil Bennett, Gareth Jenkins, Derek Quinnell, all these players, Delmy. I'd have him in that bracket where he should be sitting in that area, and he can be used to meet and greet people when we have events and stuff like that, right? That's how it works there. But it's an interesting one that you brought up about Scott Quinnell. Because I'm not just saying because I was in school with him. I think we missed a trick. We allowed Scott to not be involved in this club. Right? I know he suffers just like I do because I was in the same class as him with dyslexia. Okay? Now, these days, everything a coach does is off a laptop, and you've got to be computer literate, and you've got to be, you've got to know how to give a speech in front of the camera and learn a speech and things like that. And Scott has worked for Sky at the highest level, so he must be finding a way around his condition or our condition, because I've got the same condition. Okay, but as a rugby brain, how have we not taken advantage of that rugby brain that he has and his rugby heritage and grounding?
I've said it for years, mate. Look what he did with Llanelli RFC.
And that's why I'm saying it. When he coached Llanelli RFC, right, that was with...
Untouchable.
And I do, as an aside, right, because when they won that cup, right, with Scott, and I'm sure Scott Williams was in that team, and at the end, Scott Williams draped himself in a Llanelli RFC flag and walked around the Millennium Stadium. And you know what? If anybody, and I'll shout this out to his dad, I think I've asked his dad a couple of times, if anybody can get hold of that picture for me, because I want that picture framed, it wasn't Scott, it was just that iconic moment and we haven't got a picture of it. That moment in the Millennium Stadium when Scott Williams was draped in that flag was unbelievable. It was a cracking picture, and I can't find it anywhere. I can't even find any footage to be able to take a screenshot of it, right? I want that. You know, you can tell by the way the things I like with regards that are connected to the Scarlets, right? I used to have a cut out of Phil Bennett in action and all that. I used to take it to the games. It was great. Those things, they are part of this club, of the brand, the identity, the culture, you know. I remember being in Dave Parade with that cut out of Phil Bennett, and that's all I had to do, right? He's on the Argus Terrace, hoist Phil Bennett up and go like that, right? And he was going back and forth like that, Phil Bennett, straight away, camera on it. Camera was like, not on me, you couldn't see me, because I'm short, right? I just held it up like that. Camera straight on, my phone in my pocket, bzz, 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 bzz. Everybody texts me, we can see Benny, we can see Benny on TV. Brilliant, you know?
There's another one like that, mine is always on TV at the home games. I don't know who he is. He wears a hat with a cork in it. He's always holding a little sign saying something.
He is one of those people, one of those characters. I'm not sure if he's from the town or not, right? But he's there with his son all the time, and he always has a message on his card, because he in the last game of Stradi, he had, by Stradi, thanks for the memories, or something. And it was just one of those moments where he's one of those characters that he's sort of like, he's unassuming, he's in the background, you spot him straight away, but I don't know his name. Everybody knows him. As soon as you said who you were on about there and you described him, I knew. It's very much like if you're from this town, right? The windswept, interesting guy that's always walking around town with a satchel. And he's always walking from the Davin Link Road down Llangennech. And there's actually a thread about him on Scarlet Fever. Asking who's this mystery man of Llanelli? Because everybody knows his face, but and he's a bit of a he's into the arts and a bit of like literature.
A bit curly hair.
Yeah, curly wavy hair with him, windswept and interesting he is.
Windswept and interesting, not I bent. No.
Right, shall we go, mate? We've put a good shift in here. 3 hours and 13 minutes we have been online for. So it's been...
Thomas Ian said, good night, boys. Remind me to tell you my halfpenny story next week. We're looking forward to it.
Definitely. Tell us next week. Next time.
Hopefully a nice...
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Thomas. And
Tom, why didn't you come on with this?
I'm sure Ollie is the man for you. He's got you right where you should be. And not even Ronaldo can save you from the wrath of Ollie and his mediocrity. Top 6 at least, maybe.
Ollie's at the wheel. There we go.
Ollie's at the wheel. Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Tom, don't worry, pal. You know what to say.
Next week, I'm looking to get back onto the football by next week because it's Liverpool United next week. So we'll stay up. You know, Newcastle are gonna leapfrog you up now, pal. Maybe you come above Watford.
I've sent an email to the bloke who bought Newcastle last time. Is he a fancy little side gig down West Wales?
The sponsor Scarlet Fever TV.
I was in the Bury Port.
Oh, I was in Bury Port. Yeah, no. Brilliant.
No, Scarlets, of course.
I mean, look at it, boys. We 50 points to 15, right? But we've still had a good. Yeah, I'm enjoying. We've had a good laugh. I'm chuffed. We've decided to get this going, and even on nights like this where we that we have a talking, it shows that actually this channel comes into its own then, because it is a place where we can all just chat and get things off our chest, but have a laugh as well. You know what I mean? So no, it's all good. Thank you for everybody who's been who's tuned in. Please drop a like and a share and a subscribe as well. You know, because that does help. It helps you to put this out there to other people like-minded as yourselves. That's right. The way the algorithm works and stuff like that, like, you know. So take care, Robert Andrews. Goodbye. Thanks for the wave. Right, I'm gonna go. Right, I'm gonna put it to the old thanks end scene now. I'm gonna get this working. So it's good night from me and it's good night from Chris. Take
Take
care.
it easy, people.
Peace. Take it easy. See you next week for the tough match against Benetton. I know, innit? It's only Benetton. What could go wrong on that bombshell? Take care,
I'll tell you what
boys.
next week.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. See you guys.